Welcome to the Fantasy Audiobook. School Beauty Break the Engagement, Awaken Chaos Rootless Water Unknown Level at Start. Chapter 1. Look, isn't that the goddess Yuyao? Why is she here? She must have been secretly in love with me for a long time, and now she can't help but confess her love. Bah, tell me, you are 1.53 meters tall. Or do you weigh 180 pounds? Many people rolled their eyes and looked down upon him. Yuyao has a handsome face, aloof temperament, and fair and tender skin. She becomes the focus of the audience as soon as she enters. Hello, Senior Yuyao, my name is Lu Dehua, nice to meet you. One person smiled and stretched out his hand politely. Yuyao ignored it directly and locked her eyes on the figure at the back. Being so ignored, Lu Dehua's face froze and his smile froze, his hand stopped in midair with nowhere to put it. Ah. Is the goddess looking for Lin Shu? There are rumors that she is Lin Shu's fiancé. What? This is impossible. The Yu family has a century-old foundation, tens of billions of property, and numerous warriors in the family. It is one of the 3 wealthy families in our Zhongling city. And she is the apple of the Yu family's eye, the proud daughter of heaven. How could she fall in love with this loser? There was a commotion in the crowd. Many people looked at Lin Shu with eyes filled with unkindness, anger, and even resentment. Snort, snort. At this moment, Lin Shu was sleeping soundly, snoring like thunder. Lin Shu, Lu Dehua shouted angrily. If only it were in the past. But today the goddess is here in person, and the person in front of her is so virtuous. Who called me? Lin Shu looked dissatisfied at being woken up and stretched his body. Suddenly, a wave of memories rushed into Lin Shu's brain. My soul has traveled to a parallel world where spiritual energy is revived, monsters are rampant, and supernatural powers are unleashed. And tomorrow is the talent test. Lin Shu was completely stunned. Not one of the hundreds of meridians is connected. You are really a complete waste. Yuyao said condescendingly. In this world, if you want to awaken your talent, you must open up the meridians and spirit condensing vortex. If you cannot awaken your talent, you will be eliminated by society and become the lowest level of people. Do you want to take care of it? Lin Shu rolled his eyes at her. In name, the beautiful woman in front of him is his fiancée, but that's all. Let alone feelings, the two of them can't even be considered an ordinary friendship. Counting this time, we have only met twice. Lin, please pay attention to your attitude. Don't forget that you are just a dog fostered in the Yi family. And my cousin is the apple of the Yu family's eye. She will become a powerful new star of the human race in the future. She is a being that you can only look up to in this life. Don't even think about a toad trying to eat swan meat. The woman in the red dress who followed Yuyao in, folded her arms and started shouting. Yuyao didn't stop him, with a default attitude. If it weren't for being an elder in the family, how could she be engaged to such a person? Tomorrow is the talent test day. Once her powers are awakened, she will become a supreme genius. And the other party is just a loser who has not yet opened his meridians and cannot awaken his powers. How can he be worthy of her? So she came to completely solve this stumbling block. Does your dog just bark randomly? Lin Shu looked at Yuyao. This woman is indeed beautiful. But his eyes and bones reveal a sense of coldness and pride. It was like gods looking down on mortals, which made him very uncomfortable. Presumptuous. Do you know who I am? Kneel down and apologize immediately. The woman in the red dress was furious, and her fierce eyes made many people timid. Incompetent people can only use their words. Once you offend some people, you will regret it for the rest of your life. Stop talking nonsense. Let's break off the engagement. You don't deserve me. Yuyao's words, you are not worthy of me, were so decisive and heartless. I'm telling you, how could my goddess fall in love with a loser like him? Everyone was talking about it. If you back out right away, wouldn't it be shameful for me? Choice 1. Agree to terminate the engagement. Once completed, you can bind to this system. Option 2. Ignore it and leave, giving up the binding system. Before Lin Shu finished speaking, a machine-like voice sounded in his mind. As a time traveler, he was no stranger to the system, so he couldn't help but feel happy. You don't agree. Yuyao's face turned cold, and as her long hair danced, the spiritual energy in her body continued to overflow. Please choose within 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3. Cancel the engagement. Now. Immediately. Immediately. Seeing the countdown reaching 0, Lin Shu hurriedly stood up and raised his hands and shouted. System binding loading. 0.20%. 0.30%. Ding. The binding is successful, and you will be given a gift package for newbies. Talent. Chaos Rootless Water. Awakening talents without opening the meridians. And the name sounds so cool. Could it be an S level, or even SS, or SSS level power? Lin Shu looked excited and his heart was surging. What's going on? Why does he look so happy? Could it be that this guy wants to break off the marriage more than I do? Impossible. I am the proud daughter of heaven, and with my appearance and figure, people like him would like to climb up to me and enjoy happiness and wealth. Yu Yao dismissed her thoughts and looked at Lin Shu with disdain. Even if you know the situation, you can save me from using other means. After saying that, she turned around to leave, not wanting to stay for a second longer. Breaking off the engagement is a serious matter, Lin Shu, you must think it over carefully. A kind-hearted person was advising. Isn't it just to terminate the engagement? I don't like her. Lin Shu, who was in ecstasy, blurted out. Boom. One word caused thousands of waves, and the whole place exploded. Everyone thought Lin Shu was crazy. He is completely crazy. If you're surnamed Lin, say something if you can. Yu Yao's eyes were extremely cold, and the chill radiating from her body made people's hair stand on end. As a proud daughter of heaven, she has been favored by others since she was a child. How has she ever been insulted like this? The dog couldn't spit out ivory, so my cousin tore his mouth apart. The woman in the red dress sneered. What a powerful spiritual power. Little sister Yu Yao's spiritual power is probably close to 30 points. Lu Dehua said secretly. Lin Shu was also surprised by the spiritual power she unleashed. Because before the awakening of supernatural powers, the average person's spiritual power value is only between 1 and 5 points, and those who reach 10 points can be called geniuses. How outrageous. This is our Class 6 territory, and squad leader Lu is personally in charge, so it's not your turn to act wild. Let's all come together, don't be timid. Let them see the strength and unity of our Class 6. Lin Shu shouted loudly and righteously, but skillfully moved his body towards the back of the crowd. You want to be the first? Yu Yao looked at Lu Dehua and asked aggressively. What's going on? When did I make the first move? When Lu Dehua looked back, he realized that everyone behind him had retreated, and he was the only one standing in the front. I was sold. Little sister Yu Yao, please listen to my explanation. This is a misunderstanding. His forehead was covered with sweat. Lin Shu, get out of here and solve the trouble you caused yourself. Don't involve me, he roared at the crowd. I saw Lin Shu jump out of the window. A shy girl said. What, already slipped away? Lu Dehua froze where he was, with 10,000 grass and mud horses galloping in his heart. After escaping, Lin Shu hurried back to the dormitory. System, how should I use my powers? The original, he, was a complete scumbag who either skipped classes or slept in class. Therefore, he has no memory about how to use the superpower. The chaotic rootless water is inside your body, you can feel it as long as you concentrate. Without saying a word, Lin Shu immediately sat cross-legged and closed his eyes. 1 second, 2 seconds, 2 seconds. I don't know how long it took, but he seemed to have fallen into a deep sleep. In the dream, there is no cute and charming girl, and there is no pile of money to satisfy the stadium. There is just a kind of silence, as if everything no longer exists. Tick-tock, tick-tock. Suddenly, he heard a unique sound of water drops. All the meridians in my body are open. When he woke up, he looked incredulous. At this moment, his body was sticky, which was discharged dirt. He was surprised to find that his vision, hearing, sense of smell, physical strength, etc. had all improved qualitatively. There is also a magical power hidden in the Dantian, which is the spiritual whirlpool. Lin Shu's eyes brightened. Buzz. With a little mobilization of spiritual power, a water ball was gathered in the palm of his hand. This water polo is clear and transparent, without any impurities or colors. If you don't look carefully, it's hard to spot. At the same time, a panel appeared in front of him. Name, Lin Shu. Age, 19. Level, 1. Energy, 1. Soul, 38. Constitution, 21. Talent. Chaos Rootless Water, unknown level. Items. None. The soul value is 38. Is it because I traveled through time? Wait, I seem to remember that water in the natural system is recognized as the weakest talent in the world. He suddenly exclaimed. No wonder he didn't feel any power from the water polo in his hand. Who said water is the weakest talent? The system despises it. It is written in the book that the teacher taught it, isn't it right? Lin Shu was confused. Water is the mother of all things and the source of life. It can be still or move, and it has a myriad of phenomena. The chaotic rootless water is the existence of the universe that was first opened and has no roots or stains. The reason why it is weak now is because it has not yet awakened its hidden attributes. Once awakened, wind, fire, thunder and lightning are nothing in front of it. You mean, this chaotic rootless water can still evolve? You can also understand it this way. Then what are you waiting for? Hurry up and help me awaken hundreds of hidden attributes. I want to stand at the top of this world. I want money and beautiful women. Lin Shu shouted excitedly. The system simply rolled its eyes. I am only the administrator of the system and have no authority to give you any rewards. Hearing this, Lin Shu was greatly disappointed. It seems that the dream of becoming rich and powerful overnight has been shattered. Bang bang. There was a knock on the door outside. Old Lin, you are confused. The jewel in the Yu family's eye and the future successor of the Chengsheng group, what a great person. It's better for you to kick him away. As soon as I entered the dormitory, the visitor chattered nonstop. Fatty, whose real name is Wang Sikong, is Lin Shu's best friend in the world. The old ones won't go away, and the new ones won't come. When I fly to great heights, young master, Lin Shu said with dignity. Blow, you keep blowing. Anyway, the cow is still in the sky and has not reached the Milky Way. The fat man looked down upon him. Gulu, Gulu, are you hungry? Let's eat together. I don't have any money, what about you? Don't worry, I have it. How many? $3.50, and 2 dimes. As the sun sets, a new electric car leaves the school. Fat man is pretty good. He can actually drive Lao Wang's new car. Don't mention him, it's bad luck. What's wrong? Are you arguing with Lao Wang again? That old fool was caught for not paying for whoring, and he didn't leave me a penny. The most unlucky thing in my life is that I have such an unreliable father. Here we are, it's your turn this time, I'll look out for you. Staring at a paralyzed old beggar on the street in front of him, the fat man's eyes flickered. Okay, let's watch my performance. Lin Shu put his hands in his pockets and whistled as he walked away. Hey, business is good today, brother. Lin Shu smiled mischievously. They are all well-intentioned people doing good deeds and doing good deeds. Old man, my legs are disabled, my son and daughter-in-law died early, and my 3-year-old granddaughter is now terminally ill. Hey, please give me some life-saving money, brother. May the Bodhisattva bless you. The old beggar with tattered clothes and messy hair wiped his tears and told. Brother, since your granddaughter is terminally ill, the treatment will be in vain. Isn't this a waste of money? It's better to save the emergency first. Lin Shu smiled half-heartedly. What? The old beggar's eyelids twitched and he had a bad premonition. What a fool, you're trying to steal the money, little fool, don't run away. He rushed out with a whoosh and chased Lin Shu. His speed was astonishing and could be called a medical miracle. Got it. The fat man who was watching not far away looked happy. Get in the car quickly, let's go have a big meal. With all the power turned on, the little sheep passed by like a gust of wind. Fat man, wait, I haven't gotten in the car yet. I haven't gotten in the car yet. Seeing the fat man leaving gracefully, Lin Shu was dumbfounded and couldn't help but say something about the quintessence of Chinese culture. Boss, he is the one who has robbed our money time and time again and destroyed our business. Boy, let's see where you run away this time. 3 fierce men rushed out and completely surrounded Lin Shu. It's over, Barbie is cute. Lin Shu's mouth twitched violently. It's so exciting to run away after pretending to be cool, haha. Riding a small electric donkey, the fat man Wang Sikong transformed into the most beautiful boy, with a radiant face. Old Lin, why don't you say anything, old Lin? Something seems wrong. When the fat man looked back, he was completely dumbfounded. The rear of the car was filled with air. Aren't you a quick runner? Why don't you run away again? Little fool, you finally fell into our hands. Today we will settle old and new grudges together. The two men, one fat and one thin, were gearing up and approaching Lin Shu with goodwill smiles. Brothers, this is a misunderstanding. Lin Shu smiled without blushing. Give me my money, the old beggar roared. He was caught red-handed and said it was a misunderstanding. He had never seen such a shameless and hypocritical person. There are rules on the road. Either leave your hands or your feet, it's your choice. The leader of the bald man's eyes were as sharp as an eagle. Brother, if you have something to say, you are one of our own. I won't hide a few of them now. Do you know the famous brother Tianyu? He is my uncle, and he is very famous. Lin Shu said clearly. Are you talking about Shicheng Shui Biao Gang, brother Tai Niu under Dao Luasha? The bald man had a solemn expression. Seeing this, Lin Shu secretly thought something was wrong. Besides him, is there a second brother Tianyu under Dao Rikshasa? Hiss. After receiving the confirmation, the bald man gasped and his eyes widened. The old beggar's eyelids twitched. The one thin and the other fat frowned, their eyes a little uncertain. How is it? You must be scared. You can rest assured that I am a tolerant person and will not hold grudges easily. I won't tell my uncle what happened today, lest he cause trouble for you. I've made an appointment with a friend, so I'll leave first. I'll treat you to tea another day. Lin Shu smiled and waved, then turned and left calmly. Fortunately, I am smart and have the acting skills of a movie king, so he feels a little proud. Little brother, there are a lot of bad people at night. For your safety, let's give you a ride. No need, I'm familiar with this road. I'll keep in touch when I have time in the future. As soon as he finished speaking, Lin Shu felt a chill in his heart. Phew, an arrow broke through the air and hit him directly in the back of the head. In the critical situation, his legs bent sharply and his upper body leaned back at 45 degrees. He actually avoided it. The thin man's pupils shrank. Ha ha, what a sharp-tongued little brat, he dares to blame my elder brother. Let me tell you, my eldest brother's surname is Diaoming Niu, and his nickname is Brother Tianyu. The fat man laughed wildly, jumped above Lin Shu's head, and struck with his fist flashing red. Is that bald man the Iron Bull? Holy shit, I didn't look at the almanac when I went out today, so unlucky. Lin Shu is like a mute-eating Coptus chinensis, unable to express his suffering. Seeing that this punch could not be avoided, he gritted his teeth and gathered his spiritual power with his right hand to meet it. Bang! A dull collision sound. The fat man was knocked several meters away and hit the ground hard, with blood dripping from his fists. Name: Zhongji. Age: 29. Level: 1. Energy: 12. Soul: 3. Constitution: 6. Talent: Strengthening System, F level red light fist, effect increases power by 10%. The fat man's message appeared in front of Lin Shu. What's going on? He asked confused. All creatures that the host has come into contact with can obtain its information. Lin Shu was completely shocked. This was such a huge idiot. Although this person's spiritual power is stronger than mine, my physical brute force, speed, and resistance far exceed his. He bent his legs, and his whole body rushed out like a bow from a string. Be careful, squat down quickly. The thin man not far away shouted urgently, and the quiver in his hand exploded. Whoosh, whoosh, dozens of arrows struck him. However, under the power of Lin Shu's soul, he had already seen through the trajectory of the arrow. He dodged sideways, leaned back, and jumped in front of the fat man. Eat my thunderbolt and invincible divine fist. He shouted domineeringly, gathering spiritual power in his fist and smashing it like a hammer against his Tianling cap. Double red light fist. The fat man gritted his teeth and roared, using his talent to make fists and cross his hands to resist. Why is there no movement? At this moment, the fat man felt a chill coming from his crotch. Oh, sorry, I made a mistake just now. It should be the broken egg King Kong kick. Lin Shu smiled evilly and kicked out his right foot as fiercely as a tiger. Ah! It exploded, it was kicked. Following a shattering sound, the fat man howled heartbreakingly, and the pain was rolling underground. This guy is so cruel. The thin man was horrified and had a creepy feeling. It's your turn, take my water dragon bullet move. Lin Shu smiled widely, put his palms together and pushed out violently. HMPH. You want to use the same trick a second time. I won't be fooled. The thin man gritted his teeth and mobilized all his spiritual power to turn into arrows, which he shot at Lin Shu with great force. Puff! Suddenly, a water balloon hit him in the face, making him look stunned. Hey, I told you in advance, but I didn't notice it. I'm really blind. Lin Shu sighed. He appeared in front of the thin man like a ghost, thrusting 2 fingers into his eyes in a victorious gesture. Ah, my eyes. Boy, you don't have martial ethics. The thin man screamed and shed 2 lines of bloody tears. I'm not a gentleman, why should I talk about martial ethics? Bang! Lin Shu slapped him unconscious with a big mouth. It seems slow, but in fact everything happens in a flash. Seeing the tragic situation of his men, the bald Iron Bull brother was shocked and angry. Boom! His momentum exploded, and his clothes were torn open to reveal his refined muscles, and his veins were as powerful as a horned dragon. Talent. Black Iron Head. A roar swept through him with murderous intent. Look at that man. Oh my God. That's Brother Iron Bull. Who is so bold as to provoke this lord? Don't you want to live? Because the fighting was loud, some people were attracted. In Lin Shu's shocked eyes, Brother Tianyu's shiny bald head turned into a black head. The Iron Bull collided with anger. Brother Iron Bull used his legs and rushed out like a rocket. Lin Shu was knocked away by the Iron Head, and there was a tearing feeling in his chest. Name: Diao Niu. Age: 32. Level: 1. Spiritual power: 27. Soul: 13. Mental power. Constitution: 15. Talent: Superman Type D level Iron Head. Effect: head as hard as black iron. This man's spiritual power value has reached 27. I am no match for him unless I have a handy weapon to defeat his Iron 2 Kung Fu. Looking at the panel that emerged, Lin Shu's pupils narrowed. Random task trigger. Choice 1. Fight to the death and be rewarded with 5 points of spiritual power. Option 2. Surrender and admit defeat, eliminate the enemy's hostility, and reward Shenong with a shovel. A tall and dignified man of 8 feet can have his head cut off and his blood shed. How can he surrender so easily? Brother Tianyu, don't move your head. I surrender, I admit defeat. To tell you the truth, I grew up listening to your majestic deeds, and you are my idol. Seeing that the opponent was about to launch another Iron Head attack, Lin Shu immediately raised his hands and shouted. Brother Tianyu's eyes were a little confused. This kid is full of nonsense and extremely cunning. Don't believe what he says. The fat man whose balls were kicked broke shouted angrily not far away. HMPH. When death is imminent, he still wants to use tricks to delay time. Being reminded by the fat man, Brother Tianyu's eyes became angry. Brother Tianyu, I speak from the bottom of my heart. You have to believe me, little brother. Think about it carefully, little brother, why do I pretend to be your nephew? It's not because I admire you. Lin Shu continued to brainwash him with words. Hey, it sounded like this was true, and Brother Tianyu couldn't help but feel happy. But he still threatened severely. Although I haven't read much, I'm not stupid. Don't try to lie to me. Brother Tianyu has unparalleled intelligence, who can deceive you? Lin Shu said with a smile. Of course, my boss Dao Rakshasa also often calls me smart. Let's do this. I have been a loyal fan of you for many years, so I will make an exception today and accept you as my younger brother. If you cause trouble in Xicheng from now on, please give me Brother Tianyu's name. I guarantee it will be used. Brother Tianyu patted his chest and said proudly. Wow, this young man's life is so good, he was chosen as his younger brother by Brother Tianyu. Brother Tianyu is backed by Dao Luosha from the Shui Biao gang. With him protecting him, his future will be bright. Others were shocked and couldn't help but be envious. Ding, the mission is completed and Shenong will be rewarded with a shovel. Level 1 Shenong shovel. Cannot be upgraded, and is as hard as an artifact. Hardness comparable to artifacts. Hiss. Lin Shu couldn't help but take a breath of air. Although he is a poor student, he has heard about the levels of weapons. Huang level, Zan level, Earth level, Heaven level, Saint level, God level. And God level weapons are the pinnacle weapons in this world. It is said that there is only one thing in the entire country of China, and that is the sacred artifact of the country, the 9-dragon pattern divine cauldron. You kid don't want to. Brother Tianyu narrowed his pupils slightly when he saw him distracted. Yes, little brother, I am willing 100,000 times, haha. Lin Shu laughed, ran to Brother Tianyu and gave him an affectionate hug. Good brother, I'll make sure you live well after you follow me. Faced with Lin Shu's enthusiasm, Brother Tianyu also seemed to regret that it was too late for them to meet each other. By the way, brother, can I touch your bald, iron head? They are all our brothers, feel free to touch them. It's so shiny, so slippery, and it feels a bit cold. I just don't know if it can withstand being hit by a brick. Haha, it doesn't matter if you hit me with a brick. I was hit by a 100-kilogram hammer before. I'm still living fine. That's what I say, but I still feel. What, you don't believe it? Okay, there are bricks over there, you can just use them to smash them. This is not good, I'm afraid you will get hurt. Fart, my iron head is famous. Don't talk nonsense, just hit it as hard as you can. Brother Tianyu bent down, patted the bald Titu 3 times and said domineeringly. Well, since you have begged me like this, brother, I have no choice but to do it. Lin Shu said with some embarrassment. A flash of white light revealed a black shovel in his hand. It is almost the same as the shovel in a farmer's home, except that it is older in style and has a shorter iron handle. He raised the Shenong shovel high and hit Brother Tianyu's bald iron head hard. With a shovel in hand, I have the world. There was a thud, and Brother Tianyu lay on the ground like a frog. His eyes turned white, his body twitched, and he had white foam coming out of his mouth. The famous iron head, like a smashed watermelon, flows out a pool of red. Hey, I can't even tell you, but you insist on me smashing it. Wouldn't something happen? Lin Shu sighed helplessly. System, you are stuck in a bug. This is called wisdom. Lin Shu smiled mischievously. Brother Tianyu was beaten to the ground. Oh my god, a broken shovel can break his iron head. A boy who doesn't know the heights of the world, he will cause big trouble this time. Run quickly. The crowd panicked and fled. There was a dull thud, and the fat man fell to the ground trying to escape, his head being opened. What do you want to do? Don't come over here. I'm warning you, we are the subordinates of Dao Luo Sha and are members of the Shui Biao gang. If you offend us, there will be no room for you in the entire Zhongling city. Seeing him approaching, the old beggar was so frightened that he almost fainted. Hey, that's not bad. You can scare people better than me. We all got to know each other. Since you like to pretend to be disabled so much, I will make your dream come true today. Lin Shu raised the corners of his mouth slightly, raised the Shenong shovel high and hit it hard. Ah, my legs. The old beggar let out a shrill scream, his legs were bloody and miserable. Hey, it's so hard to do good things. It's so tiring. Lin Shu twisted his neck and wiped the sweat from his forehead and said. He put away the Shenong shovel and groped around on a few people. When he found that there was a lot of money, he immediately borrowed it with a bold look in his eyes. Don't be afraid, old Lin, brother, I'm here to collect the body for you. Suddenly, the fat man Wang Sikong's righteous shout came from behind. God came to collect my body. I am alive and well. The corners of Lin Shu's mouth twitched. After counting, the total is $5,729.06. Divide 2,000 and 5,000 to each person, and use the rest for a feast. By the way, Lao Lin, how did you kill those guys? In a certain restaurant, the fat man asked curiously. Just a few little luo, I can easily manipulate them. Lin Shu said with an enigmatic look. Che, just because you don't have one of the hundreds of meridians. The fat man cast a look of disdain. If you don't believe me, I'll knock you down. Lin Shu spread his hands. Boss, 2 bowls of beef whip soup, 2 bowls of pig brain soup, 20 mutton skewers, a box of beer. After eating and drinking, the drunken fat man walked up to the stage, grabbed the girl's microphone, and ordered a song by Jackie Chung, the singer-songwriter. The deeper my love for you, the more heartache I feel. The person who keeps you cannot keep your heart. Please stop singing, let alone the heart, I can't even keep people. Seeing the guests leaving one after another, the boss yelled angrily. Lin Shu, who was already a bit drunk, suddenly felt a chill in his heart. When he raised his head, his pupils dilated rapidly. I saw a giant python that was tens of meters long, with blazing flames burning all over its body, attacking with fierce murderous intent and fiery aura. There was a loud explosion, sparks shot into the sky and smoke billowed throughout the restaurant. A burning table was kicked away, revealing a gray-headed and gray-faced Lin Shu. What the hell, the Dao Rakshasa people came to take revenge so quickly. His eyelids twitched as he looked at the dozen men in black who broke into the hotel. Fat man, run, get in the car quickly. With a quick shout, he quickly jumped on the little sheep and turned on all the power. The fat man Wang Sikong, whose hair was singed, rubbed his eyes in a daze. What came into view was a sea of fire and a group of men in black filled with murderous intent. What is going on? Lao Lin, wait a minute, I haven't gotten in the car yet. He rushed out of the hotel and shouted in panic behind him. Do you want to chase me? Asked a killer in black. It's just a little ant, the mission is important. The leader said hoarsely, his eyes locked on the two people in front of him. Who are you, and why did you attack my young lady? The seriously injured woman asked in shock and anger while holding a little girl. There is no need for the dying person to know, kill her. The leader shouted. Phew, phew, a group of killers rushed out. But at this moment, the leader's pupils suddenly shrank. I saw the little girl protected in the arms of the woman, her body twisted and disappeared out of thin air. Although I have incredible skills and boundless power, the Blood Biao gang has a large number of people after all. We should keep a low profile these days and avoid the limelight. Fat man. Fat man. Why didn't anyone answer? Lin Shu suddenly stopped and looked back, dumbfounded. Where are people? Big brother, someone is trying to kill me, save me. Suddenly, his thigh was hugged tightly by a little girl about 5 years old with 2 pigtails. Lin Shu could clearly feel that her petite body was trembling, and fear was written on her face. At the same time, he also felt a murderous intention coming. If you don't want to die, get out of here right away. A masked killer appeared and shouted coldly. Bake. The man shook his right hand and released a flame ball with a diameter of 3 meters. Even though he was 10 meters away, Lin Shu still felt an astonishing burning sensation on his skin. This person's spiritual power is higher than that of Yu Yao's little girl. Random task trigger. Option 1. Come to the rescue and be rewarded with 1 general attribute point. Quote. Option 2. Turn a blind eye and run away. A hidden attribute of the Chaos Rootless water will be awakened randomly. System, are you trying to train me into a big coward? One is 1 general attribute point, and the other is the hidden attribute of the awakening talent. Who is less important and who is more important, all fools know. I'm just a Lugia, an ordinary student. Excuse me for disturbing you. You can chat slowly. There is no need to send you off. Lin Shu laughed, forcefully opened the little girl's hand, and slipped away like a gust of wind. Brother, don't leave, save me. The little girl fell to the ground and begged. Lin Shu turned around and looked at her helpless and desperate eyes, and couldn't help but feel nervous. Don't blame Big Brother for being cruel, I really can't beat that person. And you and I meet by chance, I can't get hurt or even sacrifice for you. The mission is completed, and the hidden attributes of chaotic rootless water begin to be awakened randomly. Awakening is successful, obtaining the hidden attribute, cold, of chaos rootless water. Finally here, Lin Shu was overjoyed. But what does this hidden attribute cold mean? Could it be that his chaotic rootless water can be turned into ice and used? The power of ice is much stronger than water. It is a talent in nature that is not weaker than thunder, lightning and magma. But he thought too much. The so-called cold did not refer to ice. How to say? Just like putting a cup of pure water in the refrigerator to lower its temperature and turn it into a cup of cold water. The only difference, even if it is 1,000 or 10,000 degrees below zero, it will not form ice. With enough energy, it can extinguish all flames in the world. Lin Shu was ecstatic when he saw the final introduction. We've got the man, and his identity has been confirmed. The masked killer hung up the phone. Bad guy, let me go, the little girl cried, struggling with all her strength. Snap, the masked killer slapped her hard. Visible to the naked eye, half of her face was red and swollen, her eyes were filled with tears, and she looked aggrieved. If you don't want to die, just shut up. The black-clothed killer glared at her coldly, then roughly carried her on his shoulders and left. Suddenly, a beam of light hit him. Let that girl go. Lin Shu jumped out of the car, pointed at the killer in black and shouted domineeringly. System. Another stuck bug. There is a way to heaven, but if you don't take it, hell will have no door and you just barge in. The masked killer turned around with murderous intent in his eyes. Bake. He raised his hand and waved lightly, and a flame ball with a diameter of more than 1 meter hit Lin Shu. It's good to come. Lin Shu was not afraid, but instead was a little excited, using the spiritual power in his body. The water droplets condensed, and a water polo as big as a football appeared. The magic is, when he secretly activated the cold attribute, the originally colorless, odorless and transparent water ball glowed with blue light. He clearly felt that the temperature of this water ball had reached a terrifying level. But it just won't melt. 1 point of spiritual power is still known as the most useless talent in 10,000 years. My flame is the B-level talent, Blazing Eagle Flame. It is as high as 2,000 degrees and can melt even iron easily. You don't think you want to use this harmless little water ball to destroy my eagle flame, do you? Ha ha. Seeing the small water ball in Lin Shu's hand, the masked killer laughed wildly. How will you know if you don't try? Lin Shu smiled lightly and threw out the small blue water polo in his hand. Compared with the masked killer's red flame ball, Lin Shu's blue ball is more than 10 times smaller, giving people the feeling of an egg hitting a rock. Puff! The two balls collided, and the blue water ball exploded as fragile as paper. Destroyed in ashes. In the next life, remember not to be the first if you don't have the strength. Seeing this, the masked killer's eyes were cruel. Baba! Baba! The cold air filled the air, and the flaming ball that had been billowing in flames for a second was extinguished in an instant. What? My blazing eagle flame went out. No, this is impossible. The masked killer exclaimed, his eyes full of disbelief. What frightened him even more was that an inexplicable coldness seeped into his body. Spiritual power, blood energy, physical energy, perception, all seemed to be at a standstill at this moment. Master, I don't know if there will be another life, but your life is over. A black shadow flashed past, splashing with blood. With a bang, the masked killer fell to the ground, his throat was cut, and blood spurted out. Until he died, his pupils were still wide open. As if he couldn't believe that he, who had awakened the B-level talent Blazing Eagle Flame and was a second-level warrior, was actually killed by a junior. And the opponent's spiritual power value is only 1 point. Little sister, brother saved you, shouldn't you express your gratitude with courtesy? Lin Shu said with a smile. Ah, the little girl quickly recovered from the shock. I have no money. By the way, Niu gives you this. Grandpa said it is a big treasure. The little girl took out a jade pendant from her arms. Baby, it should be worth a few cents. Lin Shu accepted it decisively without being coquettish. Just when he was about to ask the little girl about her identity, a burst of bright light came from the front. That's a dozen Mercedes-Benz. Bring this person here, a voice shouted. Phew, dozens of fierce men instantly surrounded Lin Shu, filled with murderous intent. Don't hurt Big Brother, he saved Niu. The little girl opened her hands to protect Lin Shu behind her. Young lady is too young to distinguish between evil and good. This person's identity is unknown. Please take him down first and then handcuff him for questioning. The middle-aged woman in charge said coldly. No, Big Brother is not a bad person. The little girl said stubbornly. It's better to take him down first and then handcuff him. Is this how you treat your savior? The other party's indiscriminate behavior made Lin Shu feel extremely unhappy. Savior, you alone can kill a second-level warrior. What a joke. I see that you are gray-headed and dirty. You are most likely an accomplice of the assassin. The middle-aged woman's eyes were unkind. Aunt Lan hates it. I don't like you talking about Big Brother like that. The little girl glared at her. Seeing this, the middle-aged woman's face darkened. But the next second she bent down and smiled. Okay, whatever the young lady says is right, he is a good person, and Aunt Lan is a bad person. Why are you still standing there? Take the lady back quickly. She shouted at the bodyguards. I don't care who you are. What is your purpose of approaching the lady? But I'm warning you, there are some people you can't mess with, so you can do whatever you want. The middle-aged woman gave Lin Shu a look of contempt before leaving in the car. Sick in the brain, Lin Shu said disdainfully. Isn't it just that the more subordinates you have, the higher your cultivation level will be? Give him some time and he can kill a guy like this with one slap. Is the fat man dead? Do you want to collect his body for you? He dialed the phone. Shangguan Wuji, the head of Shangguan Mansion, one of the 3 wealthy families in Zhongling, is listening to reports from his subordinates. Except for the assassin leader, everyone else was either killed or committed suicide. The old housekeeper bent down and said respectfully, "Can we find out which force did it? Although there is no proof, I suspect that the leader is the Shui Biao gang, the flame demon Rakshasa among the 3 great Rakshasas. The Shangguan family has no deep hatred against the Shui Biao gang and the flame demon Rakshasa, so they can't afford to be so ruthless." "Master, what you mean is, the blood Biao gang is just a knife, and there should be someone behind it." Hearing this, the old housekeeper fell silent. "Aunt Lan, where are you? I heard from Niu that a young man rescued him and he was very powerful." Shangguan Wuji looked at the middle-aged woman. The identity of the murderer is unknown, but judging from his appearance, he is not from the same group of killers dressed in black. As for the person the lady said is just a waste with a spiritual power value of 1, how can he kill a second-level warrior instantly? Aunt Lan sneered. Spiritual power value 1. It seems that someone else is secretly saving Niu. By the way, tomorrow is the talent test for senior high school students, please pay attention. If there are good prospects, please recruit them appropriately. They may be useful in the future. Back off. Shangguan Wuji and the old housekeeper were left in the meeting hall. Do you want to use the flame demon Rakshasa? This is just a temptation from the enemy. Don't alert the enemy yet. Sir, you mean that the news of the old lady's injury leaked out? It is a matter of life and death for the family. Immediately contact the famous doctors of the wood system and the ice warriors. We must suppress the evil fire in the old man's body, otherwise the Shangguan family will be in danger. Shangguan Wuji looked worried. Are you looking for a water warrior? The old housekeeper asked. No need, the water element cannot compare with the healing power of the wood element, nor can it compare with the fire-suppressing power of the ice element. And since that great disaster, no one in China has awakened the SSS-level natural water talent for 3,000 years. Shangguan Wuji shook his head and sighed. In the morning, the sun is shining brightly. In the square, dense crowds gathered. Sitting on the highest stage were Principal Zhang Wei and Mr. Xiao from Tianling Pavilion, who was in charge of this talent test. Tianling Pavilion is one of the highest institutions in the country. Your school has not awakened S-level talented students for 4 consecutive years. Mr. Xiao reminded. Don't worry, Mr. Xiao, this time there will be someone in our school who awakens the S-level talent and brings glory to the school. Zhang Wei said with a confident smile. But the whiteness on his face and the sweat on his forehead betrayed the worry and tension in his heart. Here we go. Mr. Xiao pinched his beard and took a calm sip of tea. In the center of the square is a huge stone tablet 30 meters high and 5 meters wide, with a crystal ball as big as a human head in front of it. The male staff member opened the tablet and nodded. Class 4, Wang Zitao. Haha, I am indeed the chosen one. I am actually the first test. I will definitely be able to awaken my S-level talent. The person named laughed excitedly. With his looks, he can awaken D-level talents, and his ancestors' graves will be filled with smoke. What, does awakening talent have something to do with appearance? Of course, isn't there a word in the book called birds of a feather flock together? Fortunately, my brother is handsome and handsome. He will be a blockbuster today and dazzle everyone. Others cast contemptuous glances. The gathering place for Class 6. Mu Qingqing, a female teacher with a curvy front and back, looked anxiously. Hasn't Lin Shu been contacted yet? Lu Dehua shook his head. We have searched the dormitory and the rooftop, and the phone has been turned off. HMPH. He must have been fooling around with that fat guy from Class 5 last night. A rat's excrement ruins a pot of soup. A gangster like him should be expelled from school immediately. Someone said indignantly. At this moment, Wang Zitao on the stage put his hand on the crystal ball. 3 seconds later, the crystal ball released a faint green light. Natural type, F-level wood attribute, the male staff member said calmly. How so? I am the chosen one, why is awakening not an S-level talent? The talent tablet or the crystal ball must be broken. I strongly urge you to change it and try again. The boy roared like crazy. Get out, the male staff member shouted angrily, releasing a gust of wind and knocking him down. Don't be discouraged, fellow student. As long as you practice and study hard, you can still hope to become a senior assistant to a veterinarian in the future. Another female staff member came forward to comfort me. What a senior assistant to a veterinarian. He was so angry that he fainted. Seeing that the first tester turned out to be the lowest level F-level talent, the other students couldn't help but feel nervous. Because in this world, the strength of talent undoubtedly represents the prosperity and wealth in the second half of life. Class 3 Li Yang, Superhuman E-level talent decapitation. Zhang Li, Class 6, D-level talent of the animal system desert invisible lizard. Some people cry, some are happy, some are sad. At this moment, two sneaky figures slipped into the crowd. Fortunately, I caught up. The fat man blushed and panted. Lin Shu rolled her eyes at him. It's not because you sleep like a dead fat pig. Everyone, get out of my way. Suddenly, a red-haired man rushed over with several people in tow, looking like he was going to attack them. The school bully, Cao Chong. The man named Lin finally found you. Go to me and tear his mouth apart. Cao Chong shouted arrogantly. Several younger brothers rolled up their sleeves and pounced on Lin Shu and Fatty like hunting dogs. Pong! The fat man couldn't dodge and was kicked away. One of them punched Lin Shu in the face with his spiritual power. Lin Shu's eyes instantly became fierce, and his 5 fingers were as precise as iron claws grabbing the bowl in his hand. The attacker was horrified and found that no matter how hard he tried, he could not move a muscle. How outrageous! I order you to let go immediately. Peng Fei, the head teacher of the second class, rushed over and shouted with angry eyes. There was a click. Ah! A pig-like voice echoed throughout the square. Why is it so noisy in the audience? Mr. Xiao on the high seat frowned. Zhang Wei smiled lightly. Some small fights are harmless. What a good guy. He was so cruel in front of Director Pang. He is a tough guy. What a hammer. This guy is seeking death. The crowd was in an uproar. Are you deaf? Didn't you hear me telling you to let go? Peng Fei roared. So what if I heard it? You are not my grandson, why should I listen to you? Lin Shu was not afraid to raise his head and look at him. Haha, this guy is awesome, I like him. As expected of the #1 waste material, a dead pig is not afraid of boiling water. Some people laughed, as if they were watching a show. Bold and evil, Peng Fei became angry in embarrassment. Buzz. The spiritual power in his body exploded, his sleeves exploded, his entire right arm quickly grew 100 times in size, and he roughly grabbed Lin Shu. No, Director Peng is angry. He is a second-level warrior. He has awakened the B-level strengthening system, right arm multiplication, which can increase the size by 100 times and increase the power by 35%. This Lin Shu is going to be finished. Who told him to speak rudely to Junior Yuyao? He deserves it. There is a beautiful figure in the crowd that is particularly conspicuous, like a chicken standing out from the crowd. I only know how to talk and stir up trouble. I really don't understand why Grandpa likes this kind of person. Yu Yao said expressionlessly. Trash like him is not even qualified to carry your cousin's shoes. Zhou Hong sneered, feeling happy in her heart. Suddenly there was a bright light, and an ancient shield appeared out of thin air. Tread. Peng Fei was knocked back. His arm strengthened 100 times and recovered, and his face instantly became extremely gloomy. The person who took action was none other than Mu Qingqing. Mu Qingqing, do you still want to protect such a bad person? Peng Fei shouted angrily. Don't even think about spitting blood. It was obviously this red-haired man who made the first move. There are all witnesses here. Lin Shu said indignantly. No, I didn't see it. I just came here and I don't know anything. Everyone immediately shook their heads in denial and subconsciously stepped back. The Lin Shu in front of him is recognized as the #1 loser, and he has offended the goddess Yuyao, so only a fool would stand up for him. Boy, you have nothing to say. Peng Fei said with a smile. I saw it. Lin Shu didn't panic. It was indeed Cao Chong and the others who made the first move. At this moment, a girl with short hair came forward timidly. She seems to be from the second class too. Is she crazy? She actually stood up for Lin Shu. As soon as she said this, the whole place was in an uproar. The veins on Pang Fei's forehead popped out, and he felt like a storm was about to come. Snap. Suddenly, a slap hit the girl on the face. Eat everything inside and out, Cao Chong said viciously. After slapping the girl in the face, he seemed to be still angry, so he raised his foot and kicked her in the abdomen. But he was stopped by Mu Qingqing. Don't bully others too much. Are you in charge? Cao Chong said with an arrogant attitude that he was not afraid of heaven or earth. What can you do to me? Class 2 Cao Chong, a male staff member shouted from the testing platform. Wait for me. Cao Chong glared at Lin Shu and quickly ran to the testing platform. Mu Qingqing, do you still remember our agreement? Pang Fei sneered. The latter's proud body trembled, and there was a hint of uneasiness in his eyes. Pang Fei is her suitor, but he is not her favorite. But she refused several times, and the other party still persisted. On May 20th, this person publicly stated at a school event that the two would get married next month. She was so angry that she ignored her dignity and started a fight with him. The two people, who were at odds with each other, signed a bet under the witness of Principal Zhang Wei. Whose student's awakened talent level is higher, the other student will have to leave the school. Hey, I can only put my hope in Dehua. She sighed. This Cao Chong is Yu Yao's suitor. I heard he has a strong background, so be careful. Although Lu Dehua didn't want to see Lin Shu, he still reminded him kindly. Young master, are you still afraid of him? Even if it's a big deal, you and the teacher will be there to take care of it, right? Lin Shu smiled mischievously. Lu Dehua was so angry that he almost vomited blood. Suddenly there was a commotion ahead, and a spiritual light shot straight into the clouds. Could it be? Zhang Wei stood up suddenly, looking excited. The male staff member in charge of the test had bright eyes, weaponry S-level talent, Thunder Dragon Spear, spiritual power value 19. Wow, he actually awakened an S-level talent, and he is also the weapon type Thunder Dragon Spear. As expected of the boss of our second class, he will definitely become a king of martial arts in the future. The crowd was boiling, like an exploding ant nest. On the test platform, Cao Chong was ecstatic and made a provocative move towards Lin Shu in the crowd, which was extremely impressive. Bah! The villain is successful. The fat man was filled with envy, jealousy, and hatred. S-level, there is an S-level from Class 2. Mu Qingqing was lost. Congratulations, Principal Zhang. Xiao Lao is happy and happy together. Zhang Wei smiled all over his face and finally let go of his worries. Bang! Bang! From two directions in the northeast, beams of light shot out one after another. Obviously, S-level talents also appeared in other examination rooms. It seems that the young talents in Zhongling this year are pretty good, but I don't know how many of them can be picked up by the 4 major martial arts schools. Mr. Xiao pinched his beard and smiled. Next, Class 1 Yu Yao. As soon as the name Yu Yao came out, the crowd instantly caused a commotion. Mr. Xiao and Zhao Wei couldn't help but their eyes widened. Just under the expectation of everyone, Yu Yao stepped onto the test platform like thousands of stars accompanying the moon. Don't be nervous, just put your hands lightly on the crystal ball. Even the male staff member, who always had a serious expression, said with a gentle smile. Yu Yao nodded and placed her white and tender hands on the crystal ball. Boom! The whole square shook violently. In everyone's shocked and disbelieving eyes, a huge purple beam of light broke through the sky. Boom! The originally clear sky was filled with lingering clouds, turning into a huge purple cloud that completely enveloped the entire school in emptiness. Such a mighty momentum. What kind of talent has Senior Yu Yao awakened? With such overwhelming coldness, there is a high chance that she will awaken from the natural element, ice. Suddenly, a pair of huge pupils opened in the purple cloud. Oh my god, what kind of monster is this? This seems to be the ice bird recorded in ancient books. No, this is not an ice bird, but a phoenix, one of the legendary mythical beasts. What? As soon as the name of the mythical beast Phoenix came out, the whole place exploded. With a bang, the purple clouds dispersed, revealing the true face of the giant beast hidden within. A mortal phoenix in ice prison. Mr. Xiao screamed on the high platform and dropped the teacup in his hand. The male staff member in charge of the test also stared wide-eyed. Transforming beast talent, SSS level ice prison immortal phoenix. Hiss. As soon as 3S came out, everyone couldn't help but gasp. SSS level talent, and an extremely rare beast-changing type. Yu Yao is indeed the woman I like. Cao Chong laughed wildly. Am I awakening the 3S talent? Yu Yao's delicate body trembled slightly, but the next second she returned to her previous aloofness. Ha ha, our human race has finally given birth to another true phoenix goddess. Thank you for your hard work, Yu Yao. Come to my office and take a rest. Mr. Xiao and Zhang Wei ran over, laughing and asking for help. Isn't it just that he awakened a beast type? Lin Shu muttered. When squad leader Lu Dehua heard this, he was trembling with anger. That is not an ordinary beast type, but an extremely rare transforming beast type. What's the difference? Talents are divided into 7 categories: natural, superhuman, enhanced, summoned, beast, weapon, and special. The beast type is divided into the real beast type and the transformed beast type. The awakened beast in the former is a physical entity and can fight together with its master, but it cannot use its unique abilities. The awakened beast of the latter is an illusory body. The owner can not only possess its abilities, but also gain an astonishing cultivation speed. It is said that if you practice to a certain level, you can transform beasts into entities, or even combine humans and beasts to gain the power to destroy the world. Lu Dehua is worthy of being a class leader, and he spoke in great detail. This little girl has really awakened a super talent, Lin Shu murmured in his heart. What about the special department? Special systems are also extremely rare, such as space, time, birth, old age, sickness and death, curse. Next, Lu Dehua from class 6. Ah, it's my turn. Before he finished speaking, the monitor ran onto the test stand excitedly and nervously. Mu Qingqing, what level of talent do you think this kid can awaken? D level, C level, or B level? Pang Fei taunted in a strange way. Student Dehua is a righteous person, serious in studies, and with a spiritual power value of 17, he will definitely be able to awaken his S-level talent. Mu Qingqing said, biting her red lips. On the stage, Lu Dehua had already put his hands on the crystal ball, and soon a light burst out. Look at the test stone. Good guy, is our school going to produce another S-level talent? Looking at the light on the stone tablet and the data on the tablet, the male staff gradually became happy. But the next second, a flash of disappointment flashed in his eyes. Superman A-level talent, Ultraman Justice. Ah, only A-level. What does it mean to be A-level? If I can awaken AC level, the bones of my ancestors will probably lift the lid of the coffin. Holy crap. It turns out there really is an Ultraman in this world. Brother, you have to believe in the light. Some people applauded enthusiastically, some were envious and jealous, and some felt regretful. Don't be discouraged, Mr. Liu. Although you have not reached S level, you still have a chance to enter the 4 major martial arts schools. The male staff member said with a smile. Thank you for your hard work, senior. Lu Dehua bowed deeply. Just a little bit away, she can produce an S-level genius in class 6. Mu Qingqing clenched his hands into fists, his expression full of reluctance. It seems that the outcome has been decided. You'd better pack up your bags and get out of the school. But if you are willing to be my woman, I can let you stay. Pang Fei was so embarrassed that he wanted to tease Mu Qingqing's face with his hands. Snap! Lin Shu slapped him away. Don't touch my teacher with your dirty hands. How dare you? Pang Fei gritted his teeth. Don't be too happy too early. The test is still in progress. Mu Qingqing said stubbornly. Do you still expect this loser to awaken his S-level talent? Ha ha. Pang Fei looked at Lin Shu with contempt and laughed wildly. Mu Qingqing opened his mouth to stop. But after taking a look at Lin Shu, he sighed helplessly. People who have not yet opened the meridians and condensed the spirit whirlpool cannot awaken their talents at all. Talent testing continues, but except for Yu Yao and Cao Chong, no one has awakened talents above S level. Class 5 Wang Sikong. You're the fat one. I'm not mentally prepared to awaken my SSS level talent so soon. Roll. Lin Shu didn't get used to it and kicked him out. Why is there no movement? It's strange. Could it be that this fat man hasn't opened his meridians and condensed the vortex? There was a lot of discussion. At this moment, a gleam of light finally appeared on the crystal ball. With a thump, a small sphere suddenly appeared out of thin air in front of the fat man. No, This is a small furry animal with white body, long ears and round body like a ball. Bika meow, it called out, excitedly jumped towards the fat man and kept licking his face. The male staff member gave the fat man a cold look, cleared his throat and said loudly, Wang Sikong from Class 5, F-level talent in the summoning system, contract beast Bika meow. What? Bika meow. The contracted beast is a Pikachu, which is a world record. No way, Pikachu also wants to be summoned by contract. My 3-year-old niece has 2 of them to play with. This guy is so talented. No, I want to laugh, I can't hold it in anymore. The crowd burst into laughter, and even Lin Shu was dumbfounded. Bika, a bad street creature. Not to mention having no fighting ability, he is also very timid. When encountering danger, the whole body will shrink into a ball. The weakest talent in the natural system is water. Then Fatty's talent is definitely the most rubbish thing among summons. Because of the F-level summoning system, there is only one contract partner. Next, Kai Ling from Class 4. Class 6, Lu Yang. Seeing that there were fewer and fewer people in Class 6, Mu Qingqing sighed, no longer having any hope. The last person is Lin Shu from Class 6. The male staff shouted from the testing platform. Brush, brush. Suddenly, all eyes fell on Lin Shu. Don't be discouraged, fat man. I will protect you from now on. Lin Shu patted his shoulder and smiled. Old Lin, I advise you not to go up, lest you bring shame on yourself. The fat man said seriously. Lin Shu smiled calmly, put his hands in his pockets and walked towards the test stand. Look, he is Lin Shu, the best talent in education. Ah, doesn't this guy dare to go to the test stand without having one of the hundreds of meridians connected? Someone was surprised. It's embarrassing, Zhou Hong said with disgust in her eyes. I can kill an ant like him with one finger. Cao Chong sneered disdainfully. Under everyone's contempt and disdain, Lin Shu put his hands on the crystal ball. 1 second passed, 10 seconds passed. Neither the crystal ball nor the stone tablet showed any reaction. Look, he really can't awaken his talent. Ha ha, it's time for him to accept his fate. There was a burst of jeers from the crowd. The male staff member shook his head slightly and shouted loudly, Class 6 Lin Shu, no. Boom. Before he could finish his words, a beam of light that could destroy heaven and earth rushed into the sky, and the entire sky cracked open. A suffocating pressure fell from the sky. Holy crap, what's going on? Look at the sky. There were constant screams, and everyone was frightened. Zhang Weiyi's office. He personally poured tea for Yuyao, and her face was as rosy as if she were 20 years younger. I wonder which martial arts school you plan to join? He asked tentatively with a smile. Yuyao glanced at him thoughtfully. Principal, if you have anything to say, just say it. Hearing this, Zhang Weiyi smiled awkwardly. Ahem, you are from the Yu family and you must know some inside information, so I'll get straight to the point. On behalf of Jinling Martial Arts School, I now formally invite you to enroll. I hope you can seriously consider it. Jinling Martial Arts School, one of the top 4 martial arts schools. The remaining 3 schools are Tianwang Martial Arts School, Holy Martial Arts School, and Demon Sword Martial Arts School. With a bang, the door was suddenly violently knocked open. Didn't you see we were discussing things? Zhang Weiyi was furious. Mr. Xiao also looked unkind. He and Zhang Weiyi both came from the Jinling Martial Arts School, so a proud girl like Yuyao would naturally want to recruit her into it. Moreover, every time a talented student of S level or above is recruited, a large bonus will be awarded. Publicly or privately, they all compete for the good young talent in front of them. The visitor looked pale and said, "Report, something happened outside." When they walked to the balcony, they were completely stunned. The entire void was cracked, with dark clouds, howling winds, and roaring thunder and lightning, as if falling into chaos. This is someone who caused a strange phenomenon in the world. Xiao Lao muttered in shock. Ah, is it him? Zhang Weiyi screamed. Looking at the familiar figure on the test bench, Yuyao, who had awakened her SSS level talent, also opened her beautiful eyes wide, her face full of astonishment and disbelief. No, the crystal ball is going to explode. Lin Shu, please let go of your hand. The male staff member exclaimed. Since taking up this job, he has never encountered a situation like today. Lin Shu looked innocent, and when he let go, the whole world returned to peace. What's going on? Is it the SSS talent? Mr. Xiao and Zhang Wei came over and asked impatiently. The male staff member did not respond, but pointed to the screen. AFDSCBSS, the letters kept jumping and changing. I was shocked. I really thought that the famous Lin Fu had awakened an S-level talent or above. It turned out to be just a machine failure. That's what I'm telling you. How can someone like him, who has been around for thousands of years, be on par with me, the goddess Yuyao? Fortunately, it was a false alarm, and Peng Fei wiped the sweat from his forehead. A mere maggot wants to become a real dragon. Bah, Zhou Hong sneered. Lin Shu wondered in his heart, does the chaotic rootless water not belong to this world, so its level cannot be detected? At this moment, the letters on the screen finally settled on SSS #natural system. Water. Lin Shu, natural SSS level talent, water. Mr. Xiao announced excitedly. Quiet. The whole place fell silent for a moment. Or be stunned and jaw dropped. Either they look at each other and suspect that they are dreaming. No, he is just a loser. There is no way he can awaken his SSS level talent. I don't believe it. Until a roar broke all the silence. The roarer was Cao Chong, who had awakened his S-level talent, because he could not accept this fact. Brother Cao is right, the detector must be broken. The crowd booed, and even the people in Class 6 were seriously skeptical. Senior Xiao, if a person who has not yet opened the soul-condensing whirlpool and whose spiritual power is 0 can awaken an SSS-level talent, I am afraid he will become the laughing-stock of the whole country. Peng Fei rushed to the test stand and said gloomily. Who said I have no spiritual power? Lin Shu shouted coldly, slowly raising his right hand. Wow, that's spiritual power turning into water. What a Lin Shu, he is clearly pretending to be a pig and eating the tiger. One stone stirs up thousands of waves. Mu Qingqing's eyes were red, and he felt like he had studied hard for many years in a cold window and finally won the exam. We agreed to make salted fish together, but you are so happy and angry. Fatty Wang Sikong's eyes were filled with resentment. I really don't know if you are lucky or unlucky. Although you have awakened the 3S talent, you are the worst in the natural system. Yu Yao returned to being cold and cold, like a nine-sky phoenix. Ice, how can it be compared to water? What's more, what she awakened was the ice of the ice prison immortal phoenix. The 3S talent is absolutely unmistakable, but unfortunately it is the weakest water in the natural system. If it were placed 3,000 years ago. Zhang Wei and Xiao Lao felt very sorry. I didn't expect that he would awaken his 3S talent. If this happens, maybe my cousin will reconsider. Zhou Hong said meaningfully. These words made Cao Chong furious. Boom, he burst out with spiritual power and rushed onto the testing platform and roared, Lin Shu, I want to compete with you. The plan succeeded, and Zhou Hong smiled triumphantly. Good guy, his spiritual power has reached 19, which is definitely not what Lin Shening can contend with. Haha, I've seen a good show, but I don't know if this guy surnamed Lin dares to challenge me. The crowd was talking. Lu Dehua said righteously. 1 point versus 19 points of spiritual power, this is unfair. He is a genius who has awakened his SSS level talent. This difference in spiritual power is nothing. That's right, this kid may be hiding something secretly. The people in the second class were sarcastic and sarcastic. Choice 1. Be timid, flee the scene quickly, and a hidden attribute of chaos rootless water will be awakened randomly. Option 2. Accept the challenge domineeringly, beat the enemy away, and gain 10 points of spiritual power. Lin Shu was speechless. This system definitely wanted to train him into a super coward. Enjoy the jungle development and become the strongest king. You have amazing spiritual power and powerful talents. I am willing to be defeated. I give up the fight and admit defeat. Lin Shu raised his hands and said decisively. Whoosh. Immediately, he fled the test platform like a gust of wind, disappeared into the crowd and disappeared without a trace. Ah, he ran away. This guy surnamed Lin is so cowardly. Bah, so what if I awakened my 3S talent? I'm not just a lost dog. The crowd was scornful. Mr. Xiao and Zhang Wei looked at each other with disappointment in their eyes. With such a psyche, even if you awaken your SSS level talent, it will be difficult for you to become a great person. Everyone, Please disperse. The library has breathing techniques from various major departments. Although they are only the lowest level, they still have some reference value. Zhang Wei said loudly. The underground mudworm will never become a true dragon in the sky. Yu Yao said coldly. However, as soon as she finished speaking, a loud voice sounded from behind the crowd. Little Qimao, your grandpa Lin is here too. Oh my god, it's that Lin Shu. Didn't he run away in a cowardly manner? HMPH, you are so brave that you dare to challenge Boss Cao. Why is this kid back again? Mr. Xiao and Zhang Wei also looked shocked. Oops, Lao Lin has made the bad habit of playing cool and pretending to be cool again. The fat man slapped himself on the forehead vigorously. Classmate Lin Shu, don't mess around. You only have one spiritual power point and you are no match for him. Mu Qingqing stopped him. Lin Shu just smiled lightly and stepped onto the stage. Since you deliberately want to seek death, then I will help you. Cao Chong laughed angrily, wrapped in spiritual power. What, don't you plan to use your talent? Lin Shu asked calmly. There's no need to deal with you, a mere ant. Cao Chong clenched his fist and struck Lin Shu. First, he spoke rudely to the goddess Yuyao, and then openly provoked him. He wants to destroy the people in front of him and let everyone know the price of offending him. Such a strong spiritual power, worthy of Boss Cao. Hit him. Many people cheered, and the atmosphere in the audience was ignited. This boy Lin can be defeated but he cannot die. My identity is inconvenient. I will trouble you to take action later. Zhang Wei said solemnly. Mr. Xiao didn't speak, but nodded slightly. But the next second, the two of them looked incredulous as if they had seen something. Look, he's avoiding it. What an astonishing speed. Could it be that this Lin Shu has also awakened the strengthening system? One punch, two punches. Lin Shu put his hands in his pockets, but his body was as flexible as a ghost, avoiding all Cao Cheng's attacks. He obviously only has 1 point of spiritual power, so why is his body so agile? He thought it would be easy to handle, but found that he was being treated like a monkey. Cao Chong was so angry that he gritted his teeth. Brother Cao, is this all you can do? My cousin is watching. Zhou Hong shouted with dissatisfaction. Cao Chong was shocked, his face twisted ferociously. How could he be embarrassed in front of the goddess? Buzz. With a move of his hands, a silver spear engraved with dragon patterns appeared out of thin air. Wow, that's the S-class weapon type's talented Thunder Dragon Spear. It's so amazingly powerful. Bang, bang. When Cao Chong poured spiritual power into the gun, the dragon pattern seemed to come alive, wrapped in lightning. Thunder Dragon pierces the sun. He roared out like a thunder dragon. With the blessing of lightning, its speed is more than doubled. Oops, Lin Shu is in danger. Lu Dehua, who awakened the A-level peak superhuman Ultraman Justice, exclaimed. Facing this swift blow, Lin Shu still smiled, and a colorless water ball as big as a football emerged from his palm. Ah, he wouldn't want to use this water ball to catch Cao Cheng's Thunder Dragon Spear, right? Hey, the water polo turned blue. So what about the blue water? It's just a mystery. Cao Chong smiled cruelly and stabbed Lin Shu's heart with the blade of his gun. However, an incredible scene occurred. The Thunder Dragon Divine Spear did not puncture the blue water ball after it pierced it. Instead, it was like it was stuck in a swamp and it was difficult to move it. Well, he stopped an S-level talent spear thrust with a water ball. No, this is impossible. Some people screamed in despair, which was a strong disbelief. There's something weird about this green water polo. Xiao Lao's pupils narrowed. Chaos Rootless water attribute, soft. It can make water soft and unbreakable, with extremely strong viscosity. This newly awakened attribute is not bad. Lin Shu was very satisfied. What kind of magic are you using? Let me go immediately, otherwise. Cao Chong roared in shock and anger. Bang! A slap hit him hard on the face, and the palm prints were clearly visible. Hiss! Suddenly, the whole place was filled with gasps of air conditioning. As the saying goes, it's better to hit someone than slap him in the face. This Lin Shu was too cruel. That slap just now was for the schoolgirl you slapped. And this slap is what I give to my grandson. Snap! Cao Chong, who was slapped twice in succession, was confused, his ears were buzzing, and blood was flowing out. As for this kick, I gave it to you on behalf of Fatty. Lin Shu's eyes flashed with a cold light, and he kicked out his right leg like a whip. Lin Shu, please show mercy. Zhang Wei shouted urgently. Boom. Cao Cheng's whole body was kicked away, his chest was deeply dented, he was vomiting blood, and was convulsing violently. At this moment, the whole square was surprisingly quiet, so quiet that you could hear a pin drop. Everyone's mind was blank and their eyes were confused. The school bully with a spiritual power of 19 and an awakened S-level talent actually lost to a scumbag with a spiritual power of 1. Oh my god, Lin Fushit actually won. Is this a distortion of human nature or a loss of morals? HMPH. The reason why he was able to defeat Boss Cao was just luck. That's right, Brother Cao Chong is just not familiar with the power of the Thunder Dragon Spear, otherwise 10 of him would not be a match. After the silence, the whole place was completely excited. Trash, Zhou Hong said with disdain as she looked at the miserable Cao Chong. She originally wanted to borrow a knife to kill someone, but she didn't expect that this person named Cao was so useless. Lin Shu, didn't you hear that the principal told you to be merciful? Zhang Wei's face was ashen. Well, he has already run away. The female staff member reminded. What, ran away? Zhang Wei was stunned and quickly looked up, but Lin Shu had already disappeared. Meow meow. Not only does this brat not give me face as the principal, he is also a real thief and can run away. Zhang Wei felt extremely aggrieved. Looking at the direction Lin Shu was leaving, Yu Yao murmured to herself, one move is enough to defeat you. Outside the school, a large number of people gathered. There are recruiters from martial arts schools, reporters from various media, and even informants from some powerful forces in the city. Great news, someone finally awakened to S-level talent in this year's talent test. Wow, whose ancestral tomb is smoking? I heard that he is Cao Chong from the second class, the grandson of second master Chang. This is a step to the sky. Entering the 4 major martial arts schools is a certainty. The latest inside news, the Yu family, the proud daughter of the Yu family has awakened the SSS Ice Prison Immortal Phoenix. Oh my god, is the Yu family going to become the first family in Gangneung? As some news came out one after another, the crowd exploded. If the security guards hadn't tried their best to stop him, they might have rushed in and robbed people. Ant Lan's test results are out. A total of 95 talents in this year's program have reached level B or above. There are 85 B-level people, 7 A-level people, 1 S-level person, and 2 SSS-level people. Several bodyguards in suits and leather shoes formed a small circle, and one of them said respectfully. 2 Class 3S. Ant Lan's eyes widened. As Yu Yao's beloved daughter, she has no shortage of money and training resources. Cao Chong has the status of the grandson of second master Chang, so our chances of successfully wooing him are extremely slim. As for Lu Dehua, who has awakened his peak A-level talent, he doesn't have much background, so he can be roped in. The point is that this person named Lin Shu wants to win over Shengguan's family at all costs. Looking at the information in her hand, she looked excited. But the 3S talent he awakened is said to be the most useless in the natural system. A subordinate said, to be able to defeat Cao Chong, who has 19 points of spiritual power with 1 point of spiritual power, this person must be extraordinary. Ant Lan said with a smile. Suddenly, there was a commotion ahead. Someone's out. Ant Lan, isn't he the same guy last night? You brat, you are really haunting. Ant Lan's face instantly darkened. Chapter 11. I don't know what level of talent you have awakened. Could you please tell me? I heard that the school bully Cao who awakened the S-Class Thunder Dragon Spear was defeated by a school scumbag. Is this true? Lin Shu and Fatty were surrounded by a large group of people. Those who didn't know it thought they were international superstars. Ahem, we are not familiar with that Lin Shu. But there are rumors that he often helps old ladies cross the road and helps centenarians push carts. He is a good man and very handsome. That's right, he also has a brother, Fatty, who is like a real dragon among men, so heroic. The two of them spoke without blushing or feeling angry. When all the reporters heard this, they were dumbfounded and somewhat relished. That's almost it, run away. Fatty and Lin Shu looked at each other in tacit understanding. Lin Shu just took a step and was stopped by several people. Yo, this guy looks so familiar. Oh, I remembered, aren't you the great hero who killed a second-level warrior assassin last night and saved my young lady? What, did you just complete the talent test? Tisk tisk. Actually, I'm quite curious about what kind of talents you can awaken with 1 point of spiritual power. Aunt Lan and the others looked at Lin Shu unscrupulously and said sarcastically. Because according to big data statistics, the stronger the spiritual power value, the higher the awakening talent level, and the accuracy rate reaches 99.99999%. Where did this stinky fool come from? The fat man's eyes were unkind. He can't fight, but he has never lost an argument. Just a crazy woman, Lin Shu said coldly. Shuzi is bold. Presumptuous. Do you know who we are? All the bodyguards shouted angrily with murderous intent. Being insulted in public and told that she was a crazy woman, Aunt Lan's eyes showed murderous intent. That's too much. I just happened to see you kill someone last night, but I have promised to keep it a secret. Why do you still kill people and silence them? Security, someone is committing murder at the school gate. Come here quickly, the murderous maniac on a rainy night, the big butcher in Shenjing is about to commit a crime. Lin Shu and Fatty shouted in panic. A large number of reporters and security guards had gathered here, but after the two men shouted, it immediately caused an uproar. Being framed in public, Aunt Lan was furious. Old Lin, you are so ungrateful. We agreed that after graduation we would go into the factory to make screws and pick up girls. It's better for you to practice secretly by yourself and awaken your 3S talent. The fat man became more and more excited as he talked, feeling betrayed. It was a stormy day and I accidentally fell off a cliff and met an old man. Ah, where is the cliff you mentioned? I'm going to jump on one too, and let the old man cleanse and cut my marrow for me, and teach me my unique magical skills. Lin Shu. Suddenly, their cell phones rang at the same time. Today is Mom's birthday. Brother, you must come back. I will take you to have a nice meal. The voice of my younger sister Yi Shui came from the other end of the phone. His parents were killed 12 years ago and were entrusted to Mr. Yi. Mr. Yi's youngest daughter, Yi Shui's biological mother, loved him so much that she took her into her lap and treated her like her own child. Today is Yi's mother's birthday, let's have a meal with her. Fatty, Fatty. Hearing the call, the fat man finally came to his senses and said with a smile, I suddenly have something to do, so I have to take a step first. What happened? Fat master, I am smart and capable. I can do anything. Lin Shu frowned as he watched the fat man leave, feeling that the fat man seemed to be hiding something. I hope I'm worrying too much. He shook his head and put away the distracting thoughts. The 4 cities of Zhongling are Dongcheng, Nancheng, Xicheng and Baikang. The intersection of the 4 cities is the most prosperous area. Sitting in the taxi, Lin Shu saw the spectacular and luxurious Daxia Wanbao building from a distance. Speaking of Wanbao Tower, almost everyone in Zhongling knows it. What people call 1 city, 2 guilds, 3 sects and 5 gangs, one of the 2 guilds, is the Wanbao Chamber of Commerce. Welcome to Wanbao Building, please take a look, sir. We can buy and sell, with favorable prices and guaranteed quality. A waitress greeted with a smile. I have something I want you to help me identify. Lin Shu took out the jade pendant given by the little girl last night. No problem, please come with me, sir. The waitress still kept smiling. Mr. Yao, this guest wants you to appraise a jade pendant. I'd like to help you. The old man was dressed simply and slovenly, looking very ordinary. But the waitress was very respectful to him. It was obvious that this person had a high status in Wanbao Tower. At this time, Yao Lao was holding a magnifying glass and studying an ancient sheepskin picture. Hearing the waitress's words, he did not turn back, but stretched out his hand, bring the things. Lin Shu handed the jade pendant into his hand and touched it casually a few times. Suddenly, his eyes widened as if he noticed something, and he quickly turned his head and pointed the magnifying glass at the jade pendant. This is Kunlun white jade. Boy, tell me honestly, where did this jade pendant come from? Yao Lao suddenly changed his face and asked with sharp eyes. What, when you collect things in Wanbao Tower, do you still need to ask about their origins? Lin Shu felt unhappy. Young master, you have misunderstood. Our Wanbao Tower only recognizes objects, not people. At this moment, a pleasant voice sounded. The fragrance filled the air, and a young woman in a purple dress came. Hiss. This woman has a heavenly beauty, charming eyes, and a hot figure. If Yu Yao is the aloof goddess above the 9 heavens, then she is the charming fox fairy. I've met the president. The waitress lowered her head and bowed. It's none of your business here, please step back. The woman waved her hand domineeringly. She looked at Lin Shu with a charming smile. May I ask how you call the young master? President. It seems that this person is Wan Miaoyan, the #1 prodigy in Zhongling's business world, known as the Queen of Wanmei. Lin Shu was shocked, but his expression was calm and he said, my surname is Lin. This jade is called Kunlun White Jade, a top-grade spiritual weapon at the prefecture level. It can warm and nourish the meridians and activate potential. It can be called a treasure. The only drawback is that it only works wonders for children under 6 years old. If Mr. Lin wants to sell it, I, Wanbao Tower, are willing to pay 5 million. Wan Miaoyan said with a smile. 5 million. Lin Shu's heart skipped a beat when he heard this astronomical figure. How many bricks must be moved and how many screws must be driven to earn this? The president is in trouble. That guy broke through the iron prison, injured dozens of warriors, and is rushing this way. Suddenly, a person rushed in a panic and screamed in fear. Roar. At the same time, a domineering beast roar resounded throughout the Wanbao Tower, making everyone's hearts tremble. You humble human beings dare to imprison me in a cage and burn them all to ashes. The fire outside the door roared and glowed red. Ah, ah, help. Waves of heart-rending screams came from the sea of fire. Did it evolve? Oops, Elder Lu is not here now. Wan Miaoyan's expression changed drastically. Roar, roar. The shocking roar contained overwhelming murderous intent. Through the sea of rolling fire, I could vaguely see a 5-meter-tall monster with tentacles on its head and 4 wings extending from its back. It looked like a human but not a human, and it looked like a beast but not a beast. Miss, run away from the secret passage. Yao Lao screamed. It's too late. Wan Miaoyan gritted her teeth, and her spiritual power rose up in her body and she made seals with both hands. The stone monster, block its movements quickly. She shouted. The spiritual light condensed into a mysterious formation, and a monster with a unique appearance and a rock body was summoned. It roared up to the sky, opened its arms and rushed into the sea of fire. Do you think that a brainless stone monster can trap me? You are overestimating your own capabilities. Boom. The flames broke out, the stone monster was burned red, and the stone body was crumbling visible to the naked eye. The astonishing burning pain caused it to scream in agony. Come out, flying snow fox, blue-scale golden horned python. Wan Miaoyan shouted, and used the summoning talent again. The blue-scaled golden horned python opened its huge mouth and roared, and several water columns rushed out like a flood. The flying snow fox stretched out its wings, and countless snowflakes carried the cold air towards the sea of fire. With the joint efforts of the stone monster, the blue-scaled golden horned python, and the flying snow fox, the sea of fire gradually extinguished, and a cloud of smoke filled the air. Summoning 3 such powerful contracted beasts at the same time, her talent is definitely above S level. Lin Shu thought to himself. Was it finally suppressed? Wan Miaoyan breathed a sigh of relief. Human, you can never make me surrender. The flames suddenly came back, like a falling meteorite rushing towards Wan Miaoyan. Not good. Her face turned pale. Just when she thought it was impossible to escape this disaster, a tall figure stood in front of her. I'm enjoying the beautiful scenery. Why are you here to destroy it? The angry Lin Shu mobilized 1 point of spiritual power in his body and condensed a blue water ball in his right hand. This time, he did not wrap the outer layer of the sphere with a tributellous chaotic rootless water. So as soon as this blue water polo appeared, the temperature of the entire space dropped sharply. Wan Miaoyan and Yao Lao, who had just entered the secret passage, both shuddered violently. The water ball exploded with a bang, turning into blue light spots, and all flames in its path were extinguished. This is. Lin Shu's eyes lit up as if he had seen something, and his right hand stretched out like an iron claw. Soon, a little man the size of a palm with 2 pairs of wings on his back was held firmly in his hand. At the same time, information about the little man emerged in his mind. Race: Fire Elf. Bloodline: Royal Family. Age: 120 years old, human 12 years old. Level 5 Grandmaster level. Energy 1500. Hiss. Reading this information, he gasped. A 5th level fairy with 1500 energy points is enough to compete with a human Grandmaster. The spiritual power value of the 1st level warrior is 1 to 30, the 2nd level is 31 to 60, the 3rd level is 61 to 99, the 4th level is 100 to 999, the 5th level is 1000 to 999. Warriors above level 5 have their own titles. The 5th level Martial Sect, the 6th level Martial Lord, the 7th level Martial King, the 8th level Martial King, and the 9th level Martial Saint. If the contracted beast summoned by Wan Miaoyan hadn't consumed most of the Fire Elf's power, it would have been impossible to suppress it with his 1 point of spiritual power and the chaotic Rootless water cooling attribute. It seemed that he had to increase his spiritual power as soon as possible. What kind of water is this and why is it so cold? It hurts. Don't play that. Boss, please forgive me. Sister Miaoyan, please save me. I hope to sign a contract with you. The Fire Elf screamed in horror, with desperate eyes. As a member of the Flame Elf royal family, its flame power is naturally extremely powerful. But at this moment, it was like meeting a nemesis. The power of inflammation in the body was completely suppressed. Are you really willing to sign a contract with me? Wan Miaoyan was extremely excited. In order to capture this Fire Elf, she paid a high price, which even caused dissatisfaction among some of the higher-ups in the clan. But as long as she signs a contract with him, everything will be worth it. But she never thought that this Flame Elf was extremely stubborn and violent. She tried hard and soft methods but failed to subdue it. Now the other party is asking me to make a contract. Isn't this a dream? Puff. Once the contract was completed, the Flame Elf fled instantly. Also disappearing were the 3 contracted beasts she had summoned before. Thanks to Mr. Lin for your help, the little girl can conquer this elf. Wan Miaoyan smiled happily, her eyes flashing with something strange. Looking at her eyes, Lin Shu seemed to be fascinated. Ding! It is detected that the host is in danger, emergency measures are initiated, and the god-level talent, Sharingan, is automatically awakened. The system voice sounded in Lin Shu's mind. Then, his black and white eyes glowed red. Suddenly, Lin Shu woke up with a start. What a Wan Miaoyan, who not only awakened the S-level summoning talent, but was also born with a charming body. If it weren't for the passive protection of the system and the awakening of the Sharingan, I would have fallen into her trap and let her slaughter me. How could it be that my charm was ineffective on him? Wan Miaoyan was shocked. Protect the president quickly. A burst of urgent shouting came from the outer door. Obviously the security personnel of Wanbao Tower came. Miss, are you okay? Where is the Flame Elf? The security captain asked urgently. You bunch of losers, what were you doing before? Get out of here, Wan Miaoyan scolded, scaring everyone into obedience. Phew, phew, she kept taking deep breaths to force herself to calm down. When he looked at Lin Shu again, he was already full of charm, and that smile actually made the latter's hair stand on end. An hour later, Lin Shu left Wanbao Tower. Miss, that piece of Kunlun white jade is only worth about 5 million, why did you give him 8 million? And the Wanbao Chamber of Commerce's Diamond VIP Supreme card is so precious. There are only a few in Zhongling City. How can you give it to a junior? If this matter is known to some people in the clan, I'm afraid they will take the opportunity to embarrass you, young lady. Yao Lao said with a worried look. What do those old guys know? They can only scheming and relying on their old age. Wan Miaoyan snorted coldly. Hearing this, Mr. Yao smiled bitterly. What a Lin Shu. The Awaken 3S water talent actually contains 2 unique powers, and he is also suspected of possessing eye skills. It is really hidden. But wait and see. When I reach the 2nd level of my charming skills, I will make you surrender under my skirt. The corners of her mouth raised slightly, outlining a charming arc. Then she dialed the phone. Uncle Shangguan, I have something that might interest you. This woman is really interesting. No wonder she became the #1 business wizard in Gangneung. Lin Shu turned around and looked at the 3 Chinese characters of Wanbao Tower written in Chinese characters, dragon and snake, and his pupils flashed with a ray of light. He took out an exquisite box containing a jade pendant necklace. Heart-protecting chain, a middle-grade earth-level spiritual weapon, can nourish the wearer's heart. He spent 3.5 million yuan to buy Yi's mother's birthday gift. With this necklace, her heart disease will slowly get better. Lin Shu smiled. In addition to this necklace, he also bought 3 crystal nuclei. A kind of crystal stone that is fused and refined with demon crystal is its source. The body contains pure energy, which allows warriors to absorb it and enhance their spiritual power. They are worth a lot of money, millions each. No wonder ordinary people always say that Wanbao makes money and Wanbao flowers. He made 8 million yuan by selling jade, but spent 6.5 million yuan on the back leg. Brother, have you seen it? This guy, seems to have gained a lot. The mountains and rivers are full of doubts and there is no way out, and the willows are dark and the flowers are bright again. Unexpectedly, the 2 brothers just lost all their money in the casino, and now someone comes to their doorstep with money. In a corner, 2 sneaky figures looked at Lin Shu leaving, their eyes showing excitement. The 2 followed quietly all the way to a dark alley. Friends, let's come out and chat. Lin Shu stopped and turned around and smiled. Hey, you are so sharp. It's a pity that you met your grandfather. You are unlucky today. Fight, rob, hand over everything you have. 2 thieves jumped out and shouted, one carrying a water hose and the other holding a dagger. The excited eyes were like a big bad wolf that had been hungry for a long time and suddenly saw a group of little fat sheep. Aren't you afraid of encountering a tough target and capsizing the boat in the gutter? Lin Shu asked curiously. Haha, are you trying to scare us? We have already figured out the details of Zhongling's talented students are young masters with backgrounds, but you are not. Unexpectedly, the thieves' brothers laughed unscrupulously after hearing this. Oh, very professional. Lin Shu showed appreciation. Ding. Random tasks are triggered. Option 1. Hand over your belongings and gain 20 points of physical fitness. Option 2. Beat the enemy away and be rewarded with a bottle of painless hair removal cream. What? Painless hair removal cream? Lin Shu was speechless. He doesn't like to take off his hair. How's it going? Juju, you're in despair. Don't be afraid. We only seek wealth and not life. As long as you cooperate. The 2 thieves' brothers were still shouting and gearing up to threaten them. Boss, please accept it with a smile. Small thoughts are not disrespectful. However, before the 2 of them had finished speaking, Lin Shu handed over the delicate box with both hands with a respectful expression. What? This is it. This kid is scared. Why don't you resist? The 2 brothers looked at each other with deep contempt. Ah, this necklace it's an earth-level spiritual weapon. Big brother, let's make wealthy. The thief brother exclaimed excitedly, and his tongue was about to break. Brother thief's eyes were full of greed and his breathing was rapid. Oh, by the way, I almost forgot about this. Lin Shu took out the 3 crystal cores. Jing, nuclear. The thief brother was dumbfounded. It wasn't until the water hose fell from my hand that it hit my toes, making me howl in pain. Haha, you have such a treasure on your kid. Brother thief laughed wildly and quickly put the necklace and crystal core into his bag. As long as you like it, boss, go slowly. Lin Shu waved the small white flag in his hand with a smile on his face. Ding. The mission is completed and the rewards have been distributed. Please check it yourself. Lin Shu opened the panel and took a look. His physique changed from 21 to 41 now. It's like there's a ferocious beast lurking in the body, and it feels like it's overwhelmingly powerful. Brother, we sold this necklace. I want to get a wife, the stuttering brother said with anticipation. What kind of wife do you want to marry? Of course, I will use this money to gamble. As the saying goes, if you give it a try, your bicycle will become a motorcycle. Besides, as long as we absorb the energy of these 3 crystal nuclei, we can break through to the 2nd level of warriors. Are we still worried about not being able to find a wife? Brother thief retorted with a thoughtful look. He seemed to be able to see the scene where the 2 brothers would become prominent and honor their ancestors not long after. Call. Suddenly, a gust of wind blew. There was a figure standing behind the door of the dark alley. Who? Brother thief shouted. Lin Shu turned around slowly and showed a mean smile. Robbery. Immediately afterwards, shrill screams came from the entire dark alley. One of the 3 wealthy families in Zhongling, the Yu family. An angry sound came from the inner courtyard, frightening all the servants into submission. This is nonsense. How can I retreat from the important matter of marriage if I want to? How can I face Brother Yi? Mr. Yu was furious when he learned that his granddaughter actually broke off the engagement without telling him. He has been upright throughout his life. How could he break his trust with others? HMPH. The Yi family has long been in decline, and now they are just surviving. What qualifications do they have to marry my Yu family? Besides, that Lin Shu is just a dog raised by the Yi family, with no background or status. If my Yu Yao marries him, wouldn't she be like a flower stuck in cow dung? Anyway, I won't agree to this marriage. If I get mad at you, the Yi family will disappear completely from this world. A woman dressed in gorgeous clothes and showing off her wealth said with cold eyes. Yu Yao's mother, Ding Yan. She was the only one in such a big Yu mansion who dared to talk to Mr. Yu like this. You, don't do this nonsense. Mr. Yu was so angry that he blew his beard and glared, but there was also a hint of deep fear in his expression. Grandpa, don't blame me for talking too much. You are already old, why are you still messing around? My sister is one of the 2 beauties in Zhongling. Now she has awakened the 3S level transforming beast type and is the future 10 saint giant. A man who is worthy of my sister must be a true dragon among those who can step into the sky and conquer the wilderness. That loser named Lin is not even qualified to carry my sister's shoes. Yu Yao's younger brother Yu Wei said disdainfully. What do you know? The Yui family has been in alliance for hundreds of years, and I and Brother Yi are close friends of life and death. Ah, what did you just say? Yaoer has awakened the 3S level transforming beast type. Only halfway through speaking, Mr. Yu suddenly screamed. That's right, I have awakened the SSS level Ice Prison Immortal Phoenix, and my cultivation has broken through to the level of a 2nd level warrior. My daughter is a peerless genius. She is destined to reach the top of the world. She will never allow anyone to stand in her way. Ding Yan and Yu Wei said one after another. After receiving the confirmation, Mr. Yu laughed excitedly. Blessed by our ancestors, our Yu family finally has a descendant with 3S talent, haha. No one knows better than him what 3S talent represents. That is an existence that can lead the entire family to glory as long as it grows up. Grandpa, my pursuit is the path of eternity and freedom. I must cancel this engagement, otherwise it will affect my Taoist heart. Yu Yao walked in and said with firm eyes. Back off, back off. Don't let Yaoer have inner demons. Grandpa will listen to you in everything. Mr. Yu laughed heartily when he saw his favorite genius granddaughter. But the dissolution of marriage is a serious matter and cannot be treated like this. He changed the subject. Grandpa, what do you mean? Yu Yao frowned. This engagement was originally made between Brother Yi and I. If we want to dissolve it, Grandpa will have to personally come forward. Make preparations and let's go to Yi's house to explain the matter clearly. Mr. Yu stroked his beard. If you want to retreat, let the Yi family retreat on their own initiative. Yu Wei sneered. Xiao Wei is right, Yu Yao is a future saint, and her reputation must not be ruined by a garbage person. Ding Yan said firmly. Bang bang. In the dark alley, dull beating sounds kept coming. Master, stop fighting, woo woo. It's because we are too blind to see Mount Tai. Please spare our lives. The 2 thieves were wailing. They were beaten so badly that even their own mother could not recognize them. If I see you committing robberies again, I will bury you alive, get out. Lin Shu shouted sternly. So special. Where is this big fat sheep? Where is this weakling? It is simply a devil. They were so frightened that they peed and fled in panic. Just then Lin Shu's phone rang, and the caller ID was Mu Qingqing. Hey, teacher He Simu, the pretty teacher in the school, are you looking for me? He said in a playful manner. Young guy with black stockings, I'm your principal Zhang. Where are you, brat? Go back to school quickly. I have something to ask for. Beep, beep. At the same time, Zhang Weiyi's office. When did Mr. Lin come back? Mr. Xiao asked from the side. Zhang Weiyi's face turned livid and he slapped the table angrily. You fool, how dare you hang up on me? As he spoke, he happily set his sights on Mu Qingqing. Mu Qingqing noticed it and blushed. She cursed in her heart, took back her phone and left. When she opened the door, she looked stunned. I saw a little old man wearing a gray robe and a thin face standing outside the door. Ah, Manager Zhang, why are you here? Xiao Laomeng stood up and looked submissive. Zhang Wei was also shocked. Manager Zhang, come in and sit down, I'll pour you tea. The old man in front of him is the top person in charge of Tianling Pavilion in Zhongling. He is a real big shot, and he is a national official. Even if the three masters of the family come, they still have to bend down and salute. He, who usually seems to be like a dragon but never sees its tail, came to his school today. I heard that your school has produced 2 good 3S talents this year, and one of them is natural water. Is this relevant? Manager Zhang said solemnly. It's true, Zhang Wei replied nervously as he bent down with sweat on his forehead. The water controlled by Lin Shu is a little weird. It seems to be fused with some kind of power. Please take a look, Mr. Xiao said respectfully, passing over the video of Lin Shu and Cao Chong fighting. This is, Manager Zhang, who had always been calm about things, suddenly had eyes shocked and his breathing became rapid. Tianling Pavilion controls tens of thousands of supernatural talent materials throughout China. And he was the top person in charge of the city, so he could see the uniqueness of Lin Shu's talent at a glance. The water used by this child contains amazing flexibility, so it can so easily trap the thrust of an S-class firearm. There is no mistake. This is a newly born talent. 3,000 years. It's been 3,000 years. The curse has finally been broken. There is hope for our human race. He shouted crazily in his heart. Wait a minute, could this Lin Shu be the son of the prophecy that the previous pavilion master said before his death? Manager Zhang trembled all over and shouted excitedly. Where is the man? Where is he? This kid is not in the school. I guess he went home to announce the good news. Zhang Wei said with some anxiety. What? He's not at school, and out alone. You, as the principal, why don't you send someone to protect him? What if he gets hurt? And you, as the person in charge of this school's talent test, why don't you report such a big thing as awakening SSS level natural water in advance? Manager Zhang was furious and scolded Mr. Xiao and Zhang Wei. What's going on? Facing Guanxi Zhang's sudden rage, Zhang Wei and Mr. Xiao were completely confused. Are you afraid that a good seedling will die young? But he is not the only one who has awakened the 3S talent. That proud daughter of the Yu family, why didn't you mention it? Zhang Wei and Mr. Xiao looked at each other, and 3 words appeared in their minds. Illegitimate child. The Yukai school is in Xicheng, and the Yi family is in Dongcheng. Although they are both in Zhongling, they are more than 200 kilometers apart from each other to the east and west. The boss is here, the total is 998 yuan. The taxi driver smiled politely. No need to look for it. Lin Shu said proudly, waving his cell phone. WeChat deposit. 998 yuan. Hearing this, the smile on the driver's face suddenly froze. It's Saturday today. My little sister should still be working part-time at this time. Give her a surprise first. I remember that the supermarket seems to be heading this way. In order to reduce the burden on the family and buy heart disease medicine for Yi Ma, my younger sister works part-time during holidays. Huimei supermarket. Boss, everything has been sorted. Today is my mother's birthday. I would like to take half a day off, as well as my salary. Yi Shui has short hair, giving people a youthful and beautiful look. In another year or two, the beauty will be no less beautiful than Yu Yao and Wan Miaoyan. It's not a funeral. Birthdays happen every year, so what's there to celebrate? The boss was a fat man. He threw the money on the counter, picked up a bottle of white wine, took a big gulp, and burped, smelling of alcohol. Yi Shui was angry, but thinking of the situation at home, she could only swallow her anger. Boss, the amount of money is wrong. Did you miscalculate it? What is the miscalculation? You have worked for 11 days in total. If you leave early today and deduct 1 day, it will be 10 days. 100 yuan a day is 1,000 yuan. The boss flapped the table, glared fiercely and shouted. The timid Yi Shui was so frightened that he backed away repeatedly, his face turning pale. But she still said stubbornly, no, the boss lady and I agreed on a price of 150 yuan per day for 12 hours of work. What, 150 yuan a day? Girl, are you crazy about money? No, you are quite pretty. If you want money, Jia. The boss touched his chin and smiled evilly, constantly looking at Yi Shui's body with naked eyes. What do you want to do? Yi Shui suddenly felt something bad. Suddenly, she was grabbed by the hair and thrown onto the shelf, her head heavy. When she came to her senses, the store door had been locked, and the supermarket owner approached her with an obscene look on his face. He has already had an idea about the person in front of him. But because the tigress has been watching in the store, she has been unable to make a move. It just so happened that the tigress returned to her natal home today. Besides, this girl is resigning and wants to leave. If she doesn't take action, she won't have a chance. There is no reason not to eat the meat that is brought to your mouth. System, what happened to Sharingan before? That's when emergency measures were triggered. Could it be that every time I encounter a crisis, the system will protect the Lord and awaken some kind of power, so wouldn't I be invincible? Lin Shu's eyes lit up. If the host is not afraid of death, you can try it. Try a ball and check the hair. If you are not careful, your grave will be covered with grass 10 feet tall next year. Hey, why is this supermarket closed? Just then his ears moved and he vaguely heard some sounds. Let go quickly, don't touch me. Ah, you fool, how dare you bite me and seek death? Bang, that was a loud slap. This sound is. Lin Shu's body trembled and his eyes turned red. Task triggered. Choice 1. However, Lin Shu, who was furious, ignored the system's words and kicked the store door open. The first thing that caught his eyes was the little girl who fell to the ground. Her eyes were filled with fear, the slap marks on her face were clearly visible, and her arrogant and frail body was trembling. Followed by a supermarket owner smelling of alcohol. Beast, he growled low in his throat, and an astonishing killing intent emanated from him like a flood. It was visible to the naked eye that his face became ferocious, his pupils were as red as blood, and they began to change rapidly. Detecting the host's strong anger, the Sharingan evolves from a single Magatama to a triple Magatama. Pong! In an instant, the entire supermarket turned into a bloody prison in front of the boss's eyes, full of ominousness. Ah, there's a ghost, help me! He screamed in horror and ran away desperately. But no matter how long he ran or where he fled, he could not escape from the blood prison. A pair of pale hands crawled out from under the blood prison, grabbed his hands and feet, and forcibly pulled him into the blood prison. Was he going to die? This was his last thought as he was swallowed by the blood prison. But something strange happened. The next second he realized that he was not dead, and the blood prison had disappeared, replaced by a cemetery in darkness. And he was nailed to a cross on a grave. Guagua, qua. The blood mist condensed and turned into countless black crows, and their pupils were also red. No. Don't peck me. Is anyone there? Help me quickly. The pain of tearing flesh made him scream heart-wrenchingly, even his whole soul seemed to be being torn apart by countless pairs of big hands. In the blink of an eye, all his flesh and blood were eaten away by crows, leaving only a skeleton. But he is not dead, the inhuman pain is still tormenting, as if it is endless. Suddenly, the sky split open and blood poured in. No, it was a pair of three-stroke Sharingan eyes that shrouded the entire world. This is an illusion. Who are you? Ah, please, kill me quickly. I saw the supermarket owner's skeletal body reborn with flesh and blood, but his belly kept getting bigger, like a pregnant woman in October. With a pop, his mouth split open, and crows rushed out one by one. Killing you is too cheap. I will make you unable to live or die, and you will be tortured in the illusion forever. Lin Shu said bitterly. The giant pupils above the sky slowly closed their eyes. I didn't expect the Sharingan to consume so much soul power. In reality, Lin Shu's eyes were filled with blood and tears, and he had a headache that was about to explode. Not far away, the supermarket owner knelt on the ground and strangled his neck with both hands, his face turned red as if he was about to suffocate. Brother, is it really you? Woo-woo. Yi Shuifei rushed over and hugged Lin Shu tightly with both hands, crying loudly in grievance. Her previous strength no longer existed at this moment. Don't be afraid. As long as I'm here, no one can bully you. Lin Shu gently stroked her head. Ah, brother, your eyes are bleeding. It's okay, don't worry. No, you have to go to the hospital for a checkup immediately. It's really okay. If you don't believe me, just look at it. Lin Shu wiped away the blood, revealing his intact eyes. After repeatedly confirming that there were no injuries, Yi Shui breathed a sigh of relief. Brother, what's wrong with him? Yi Shui asked in shock. looking at the supermarket owner who was choking his neck, twitching all over, and his eyes were dull. Perhaps he committed too many sins and was haunted by evil ghosts for his life. Lin Shu sneered. Brother, can I ask you something? Don't tell Mom what happened today. I don't want her to worry. Okay, but you must also agree to a condition. You are not allowed to work part-time again in the future. But, Yi Shui lowered her head and hesitated. I know what you are thinking. Isn't it just money? From now on, it will all be taken care of by me. Lin Shu vowed, patting his chest. Hee, that's good. From now on, my mother and I will stay at home all day, and wait for you to go to the factory to make screwdrivers to support us after graduation. Yi Shui held his arm and showed a crescent smile. Your brother and I are so handsome, wouldn't it be a waste to go to the factory to make screws? I want to enter the 4 major martial arts schools, reach the peak of the human race, soar into the sky and conquer the wilderness. Lin Shu said boldly. His bold words made Yi Shui burst into laughter, and the haze that had previously enveloped her heart was swept away. Of course, she thought her brother was bragging again. With so many unconnected veins, he couldn't even awaken his natural abilities, let alone enroll in one of the 4 major martial arts schools. Because of this, she knew that today was a talent test day, but she never mentioned it for fear of hurting his heart. But it seems that she is overly worried. Her brother is far stronger and more optimistic than she imagined. Not long after, the two finally arrived at the door of Yi's house. Looking at the 2 characters, Yi Mansion, Lin Shu's expression showed a hint of complexity. Because there are people he misses and people he hates. For him, it is a home and a prison. I didn't tell my mother that you were coming back today. She will be very happy when she sees you later. Yi Shui smiled like a crescent moon. At this moment, a car worth about 1 million drove up. The car door opened and a woman wearing a short skirt, high heels, and sunglasses stepped out. Oh, isn't this a wild dog raised by my Yi family? Did it come back because it smelled the stench? Oh, no, it was because he bit someone outside and caused a big disaster, so he rushed back to seek protection. The woman said angrily, taking off her sunglasses and shaking her long hair, looking at Lin Shu with arrogant contempt. The 3rd generation of the Yi family, Yi Mei. Mr. Yi is the eldest son and second daughter. Cousin, what are you talking about? When did my brother get into trouble? And please speak with respect. Don't talk like a wild dog. His name is Lin Shu. Yi Shui was very angry at Yi Mei's words, and she refuted them directly. How dare you argue against me for this wild dog named Lin? Don't forget, you are just an abandoned person who was kicked out by the Zhang family. Your surname is Zhang, not Yi. If my father hadn't taken me in, you, mother and daughter, would have starved to death on the streets. Now you still dare to show off your power in front of me. Believe it or not, I asked Dad to drive you mother and daughter out of Yi Mansion. Yi Mei shouted, her left hand on her hips, and she poked Yi Shui's brow with her right finger condescendingly. Yi Shui felt sad when her scars were uncovered. She wanted to cry, but she didn't dare. He could only lower his head and bear all this silently. Even if Yi Mei's sharp nails stung her, she didn't dare to resist. Only his eyes were getting redder and redder, with tears hidden in his eyes. Ah, Lin, what do you want to do? Let go. Suddenly, Yi Mei let out a harsh scream. That's because her hand poking Yi Shui's brow was held tightly by Lin Shu. What a great young lady of the Yi family, please listen to me clearly. First, Yi Ma and Shui were not kicked out of the house by the Zhang family, but they chose to divorce themselves. Second, Shui's change of surname to Yi was the intention of the old man and has nothing to do with your father. Third, my little sister, when will it be your turn to give advice? Lin Shu shouted with cold eyes. Hey, he exerted slight force in his hands, trying to crush Yi Mei's wrist bones. Ah, it hurts. It's about to break. Lin Shu, are you crazy? Let me go quickly. Huge pain came from her hand, causing Yi Mei to kneel on the ground and scream. At this time, Yi Shui finally reacted. Brother, please let go, today is Mom's birthday, don't cause trouble. She clutched Lin Shu's arm and begged. If there is a next time, don't want this hand anymore. Lin Shu waved his hand and made Yi Mei fall to the ground. He took the little girl's hand and walked away. Yi Shui turned back to look at the embarrassed Yi Mei, feeling very happy and extremely worried at the same time. Because the other party is determined to retaliate, this matter will never be let go easily. It's just a lost dog. It dared to bite its owner. If I don't take revenge, I won't be called Yi Mei. Seeing the two people leaving, Yi Mei's eyes were full of resentment, and her wrists were red. There were two people standing on the balcony on the 5th floor, the second lady and her daughter Yi Ying. Mom, my cousin, although her talent is not very good, she is still half-stepped into a second-level warrior. Why is Lin so easy to take advantage of her? Yi Ying asked in confusion. You should know that there is no hope of awakening your talent, so you embark on the road of body training. Coupled with your cousin's arrogant personality, you were careless about this kid's way. It seems that the Yi family is going to put on a good show today. Go ahead and call your grandpa, the second lady said with a playful smile. Hearing this, Yi Ying's eyes brightened. Yi Mansion is very large, but most of the buildings are abandoned, and there is a sense of desolation. Arriving at a simple little courtyard, Yi Shui jumped in like a rabbit. Mom, I'm back. In the yard, Yi sat in a wheelchair and embroidered cross-stitch. Oh, the sudden shout frightened her and pricked her finger. Mom, is your hand okay? You are always startled. When will you be able to calm down? Although there was blame in her words, Yi's mother's eyes were full of love. As a mother, you should let your children live a carefree life and cultivate them into talents. However, suffering from illness, she was not only unable to support her, she even became a burden on her family. She often blamed herself. Yi Ma, Lin Shu's voice sounded at this moment. I haven't been home for a year. Looking at the woman's familiar face, Lin Shu felt an unspeakable emotion in his heart. Yi Ma's body trembled and her eyes turned red. Xiao Shu, you are back. She was so excited that she tried to stand up from her wheelchair, but she almost fell down. Lin Shu had quick eyesight and quick hands, and quickly helped her up. But the next second, his face turned gloomy. Yi Ma, what happened to your leg? When he came back last year, her legs were very strong. Why is she in a wheelchair now? Don't worry, Xiaoshu, Yi Ma is fine, it's just some minor illness caused by heart disease. I haven't seen you for a year. Let Yi Ma take a good look at you. I seem to have lost weight. Is it because I didn't eat well, didn't sleep well at school, or was bullied by my classmates? Holding Lin Shu's hand tightly, Yi Ma kept asking for help. Yi Shui looked at her legs with a complicated expression and hesitated to speak. Your son, I am a very good thief, and I am just as good at bullying others. Lin Shu said with a smile. Silly boy, no one calls me a thief. That's because he is smart. Yi Ma said angrily, and flicked Lin Shu's forehead out of habit. Mom, let me help you change clothes. Let's go out to eat. Yi Shui took the cross-stitch from Yi Ma's hand and wanted to help her push the wheelchair. Why spend this money? Besides, the food in restaurants outside is greasy and unhygienic. Why not kill an old hen at home and go to the backyard to pick some farm food? Yi Ma said with a frown. My uncle has an order for you to go to the meeting hall immediately. Suddenly, dozens of strong men rushed into the courtyard and surrounded Lin Shu and the other three. Go back and tell Yi Tian that we are not free. Lin Shu stood up and said with cold eyes. Bold, are you going to disobey the uncle's order? Where did you come from, Junior? You dare to talk to us like this? The guards shouted loudly, and the leader's eyes widened in anger. Boom! A fierce spiritual power burst out, setting off a gust of wind and causing the dust to billow in the courtyard. A second-level warrior with a talent for wind in the natural system, Lin Shu narrowed his pupils but showed no fear. If the Yi family was at its peak, he would not be surprised if there were even 100 second-level guards. But things are different now. How can the Yi family find the financial resources to recruit these people? Chief Protector Fang, please calm down. My son just came back and he doesn't know the rules at home. I have some small money, so I can treat you all to a bottle of water. Seeing the tense situation, Yi Ma took out 200 yuan from her arms and gave it to the other party. Lin Shu wanted to stop him, but was forcefully held back by the girl beside him, who kept winking at him. You are that Lin Shu. For the sake of money, I will spare you this time. Why are you still standing there? Hurry up and don't keep me waiting. After putting away the money, Chief Fang glanced at Lin Shu contemptuously. Xiao Shu, Shui, let's go. Yi's mother urged. Brother, it's still early anyway, let's meet my uncle first. Seeing Lin Shu standing still, Yi Shui persuaded him and forced him out of the small courtyard. Today is Yi's mother's birthday. My little sister almost did that again just now. It's better to follow their wishes first. Lin Shu thought to himself. Even though he didn't want to see the faces of those in the Yi family. On the way to the meeting hall, Lin Shu found that some major buildings showed signs of renovation. Little sister, could it be that the Yi family has found a gold mine recently? I heard that my uncle opened a wood factory and made a lot of money. Did you see that SUV? It seems to cost 3 million. Hearing this, Lin Shu was thoughtful. Soon they arrived at the meeting hall, and Yi Shui couldn't help but become nervous as soon as they entered the hall. Not only her, but Yi Ma also sensed that something was wrong, because the atmosphere was too oppressive, making her breathless. Sitting in the center of the hall is Mr. Yi's eldest son, Yi Tian. Beside him are his daughter-in-law, and Yi Hua, the third-generation eldest grandson of the Yi family, who is also Yi Mei's brother. Not far away, a couple was sitting. Mr. Yi's second son, Yi Hai, and his wife, the woman who was peeping from the balcony on the 5th floor before. Swish, swish. The moment Lin Shu came in, everyone's eyes fell on him. Some are indifferent, some are disgusted, and some are even more angry, as if they have any deep hatred for them. Yi has met his eldest brother and sister-in-law, and his second brother and sister-in-law. I don't know why he asked us to come here. Yi's mother asked with a smile, but her heart became more and more uneasy. Everyone ignored her words. Kneel down, evildoer. At this moment, Yi Tian, the current leader of the Yi family, shouted. Yi Tian, who do you think you are, worthy of letting me kneel down? Lin Shu sneered and laughed. You dare to call your elder by his name, Lin Shu, you are so brave. The eldest lady yelled. At the same time, the eldest grandson Yi Hua shouted, are you all deaf? Don't let this little kneel down. Chief Protector Fang's eyes turned cold, and he led his men towards Lin Shu, trying to force him to kneel down by force. Whoever takes one more step will die. As soon as the word, death, came out, Lin Shu turned around suddenly, his 3 Magatama Sharingan eyes activated. Buzz, buzz. Suddenly, Protector Fang and his party seemed to be plunged into darkness, stared at by a pair of terrifying giant eyes. When they came to their senses, they found that they had retreated, and their backs and palms were covered in sweat. Was it just an illusion? Everyone looked at each other with lingering fears. I heard that this guy surnamed Lin doesn't have any of his meridians. He's just a young boy. There's nothing to be afraid of. As soon as he thought about this, Chief Protector Fang took a deep breath and his eyes became ferocious. Stop! Yi Ma, who had always been weak, shouted, opening her hands to protect Lin Shu behind her. Yi, are you going to disobey me? Yi Tian crushed the cup in his hand and veins popped out on his forehead. Yi Ma's body trembled, her hands clenched into fists, and something seemed to be struggling in her heart. 20 years ago, when you forced me to marry into the Zhang family as your brother, why didn't you say I was rebellious? She raised her head and looked at Yi Tian with red eyes, her white lips trembling. Hearing this, Yi Tian's face darkened. Sister-in-law, what are you talking about? My man asked you to marry into the Zhang family, it's all for your own good. The Zhang family is one of the big families in the provincial capital. They are rich and powerful. You will be lucky to marry into her. Hey, but you are a monster yourself. You don't know how to please your husband and mother-in-law, and you were eventually kicked out of the house. Your elder brother's good intentions were in vain. The eldest lady said hypocritically. It's good for me. Yi Ma laughed. The matter is over, there's no point bringing it up, let's get down to business. Yi Hai, the second eldest brother, spoke and winked at the second lady beside him. The second lady understood, and walked towards Yi with her waist twisted. Sister-in-law, don't blame uncle for being so angry. Xiao Shu did make a big mistake this time because he broke off the engagement with the proud daughter of the Yu family without permission. You also know how important this engagement is to our Yi family, but now. She shook her head and sighed at the end. Yi Ma was stunned and looked at Lin Shu, Xiao Shu. Brother, can what the second aunt said be true? Yi Shui also asked urgently. Che, it turns out that such a big battle is just because of this trivial matter. Yes, I have terminated my engagement with that little girl from the Yu family. So what, do you care? Lin Shu put his hands in his pockets and said disdainfully. Ah, Xiao Shu, why are you doing this? Brother, you are confused. I heard that Miss Yu Yao is as beautiful as a fairy. Yi Ma and Yi Shui exclaimed, their expressions becoming anxious and worried. Beast, you have committed such a heinous crime and you still don't know how to repent. The lady shouted angrily. I shouldn't have let you stay in the Yi family back then. It was a disaster after all. Yi Tiantian's face turned livid. Do you know how important this marriage is to my Yi family? It is related to the future prosperity of the entire Yi family, and my second uncle can't help you this time. Yi Hai said disappointedly. A cat cries over a mouse, it's fake mercy. Lin Shu sneered in his heart. You little fool, your surname is Lin, not Yi. The person who was supposed to marry the Yu family was me, Yi Hua. I am the one who married Bai Fumei and reached the pinnacle of life. It's you who stole what belongs to me, and now you're abandoning it like this, go to hell. A roar filled with monstrous rage arose. I saw the eldest grandson, Yi Hua, with a ferocious face and bloodshot pupils, and he took out a pistol. Bang! A bullet shot out of the wind and hit Lin Shu directly in the head. Xiao Shu, brother, get away quickly. Facing Yi Hua's attack, Yi Ma and her daughter were so frightened that their hearts rose to their throats. Bang! A bullet hole penetrated the vase, and numerous spider web-like cracks spread around it. Lin Shu, who should have been shot, still stood tall with his hands in his pockets. Did the shot miss? Yi Tian frowned. The lady felt sorry for this. Although she did not agree with her son's shooting of the man named Lin on the spot, after the bullet was fired, she was secretly looking forward to the blood splattering on the spot. So what if you were lucky enough to escape a shot? Yi Hua smiled grimly and fired several bullets in succession. Stop! A deep voice shouted. Buzz! The space was distorted, and the bullet fired at Lin Shu disappeared out of thin air. Special type of space power. Lin Shu's pupils contracted. There are 3 figures at the door of the hall. Mr. Yi, who is as thin as a stick and has a haggard face, is holding a wooden stick. Wearing ancient clothes, a tall old housekeeper with a mustache and dull eyes. The space power just now was his method. Ever since Mr. Yi was injured and his strength continued to decline, he became the strongest warrior in the Yi family. The remaining person was Yi Ying, who was ordered by the second lady to bring Mr. Yi. The old man has not been out of the bamboo forest in the back mountain for 10 years. Why did he suddenly? Yi Tian cast his gaze on Yi Ying, and his face gradually darkened. Dad, you are not in good health and need a good rest. Please take the old man back to Haoshan bamboo forest quickly, he said to Chief Feng and others. Clatter. The old butler snapped his fingers, and all the guards and servants disappeared into the hall out of thin air. Old man, do I need your permission to go wherever I go? Mr. Yi's eyes suddenly opened, and his cloudy eyes became as sharp as an eagle. Maybe it's because Mr. Yi still has some power, or maybe it's the imprint left on him since he was a child. Both Yi Tian and Yi Hai trembled and became a little submissive. Naughty grandson, kneel down for me. The wooden staff in Mr. Yi's hand shook, and a majestic spiritual pressure surged out. Yi Hua felt as if he was being crushed by a huge mountain. He fell to his knees on the ground and his mind fell into fear. But the next second, he roared ferociously. I didn't do anything wrong, Grandpa, why do you ask me to kneel down? He is the one who should kneel down. With a snap, Mr. Yi slapped Yi Hua hard on the ear. The first rule of our ancestors is that clan members must not kill each other. Have you forgotten it? You dare to kill a clan brother, you are such a villain, you must be served by the family law. It's torture to wait on the family law. Even if you don't die, you will lose half your life. Dad, calm down. Shalwa just made a mistake on impulse. Please give him another chance. Yi Tianyi quickly begged for mercy. He only has a son like this. If he really has 3 strengths and 2 weaknesses, he is afraid that the black-headed man will give away the white-headed man. Yi Hai, the second madam, and Yi Ying's family all raised the corners of their mouths slightly as if their conspiracy had succeeded. The Yi family has always favored sons over daughters. It was only during Mr. Yi's generation that things improved, but the eldest son still held power and the eldest grandson inherited it. If we can take the opportunity to suppress the boss's lineage, why not do it? Grandpa, although my cousin made a mistake first, it would be too harsh to deal with it according to the family law. Dad, your health is in need. The kind-hearted Yi Ma and Yi Shui stepped forward to persuade. They were also very angry about Yi Hua's previous actions. But as a member of the Yi family, I don't want to see the other person die because of this. Sister-in-law, stop being so pretentious. In your heart, you want me to die. If you hadn't adopted Lin, I would have become the son-in-law of the Yu family. And Grandpa, why are you so partial? I am your grandson, not him. His surname is Lin, not Yi. Since I was little, you taught me that whatever I want, I have to rely on my own strength and hands to get it. As long as he dies, I can propose to him as the grandson of Yi's family. Only through the marriage between the Yi and Yu clans can I become a human master, and only then can my Yi family rise again and become great again. At this moment, Yi Hua was roaring like crazy, wanting to shout out all the unwillingness in his heart for more than 20 years. Evil obstacle, you are not worthy of the Yi family. Mr. Yi was so angry that he was shaking all over. He raised his wooden stick and was about to hit Yi Hua. Dong dong, the wooden staff was thrown to the ground. Grandpa, you are crazy. You are beating my brother for an outsider, otherwise you will beat me, your eldest granddaughter, to death too. The person who snatched the stick was Yi Mei. She put her hands on her hips and glared at Mr. Yi. You, poof. Mr. Yi trembled all over and was so angry that he spit out a large mouthful of blood and fell to the ground. Dad, what's wrong with you? Grandfather. The sudden change caused Yi Ma, Yi Shui and others to panic. Even Lin Shu's heart sank and he quickly helped the old man up. Soon, his face turned ugly. Because through contact, he learned that the old man's physical condition was very bad. The internal organs fail, the meridians are damaged, the spiritual vortex is injured, and the lifespan is about to end. We are on the verge of running out of oil and may not survive more than 3 months. What a sin. Xiao Shu, Grandpa is sorry for you. If your parents hadn't died trying to save me, you wouldn't have become an orphan. I thought that marrying you to the Yu family would be the greatest compensation and protection for you, but I didn't expect. Hey, my family is unfortunate. Mr. Yi held Lin Shu's hands tightly, his eyes were red and his expression was full of guilt. I have the final say in my life. I don't need anyone else to arrange my marriage. Lin Shu said proudly. Well said, you have the guts. Mr. Yi said with a pleased smile. The Yi family is in decline, but the Yu family is at its peak. As the saying goes, the wrong family and the wrong family. In fact, he had already had the idea of breaking off the engagement. Haha, it's a good saying that I have the final say in my life. You are just a piece of trash with no connections. Don't try to pretend to be aloof. Yi Hua laughed wildly, his eyes full of resentment. Pong, Lin Shu kicked him hard in the face with a scud. Meow, it's always been there. I've tolerated you for a long time. Why don't you pee and take a picture? If you're such a dick, that little girl from the Yu family will fall in love with you. You're not even 10 centimeters in size. Bang bang, bang bang. After being kicked, he continued to output wildly. Don't you like playing with guns? Okay, I'll play with you, young master. As he said that, he picked up the underground pistol and pointed it at Yi Hua. Xiao Shu, don't shoot. Stop, everyone exclaimed, even Mr. Yi's eyelids jumped. Bang, as soon as the gunfire came out, Yi Hua's blood spattered on the spot. Son, wake up quickly. Lin Shu, if you kill my brother, I will fight you until death. You are so brave, you fool. Yi Tian, First Lady, Yi Mei and others roared, their eyes filled with hatred. What's going on? When did this boy Lin become so cruel and cruel? Even Yi Hai was shocked. On the other hand, the second lady and Yi Ying could not help but feel ecstatic. If Yi Hua, the eldest grandson, dies, then the Yi family will become the possession of both of them. Yi Ma was so anxious that she wanted to stand up, but her legs didn't obey her at all. Why are you panicking? He's not dead. Although my surname is not Yi, I can still be considered half of the Yi family when I grew up in the Yi family. The first ancestral motto of the Yi family is that members of the clan must not kill each other. He forgot it, but I did not. Besides, today is Yi's mother's birthday, and I don't want his miserable life to affect her mood. Lin Shu said with a calm expression, picking his ears. Call out. The afterimage flashed, and the old housekeeper appeared in front of Yi Hua. This is just a penetrating injury. The eldest son's life is not in danger. He looked at Lin Shu with a strange look in his eyes. Brother, I have an elixir for treating injuries. Although it is a yellow-level medium-grade medicine, it can still be of great use. Yi Hai pretended to be concerned. Yi Ying also acted, and she called the 120 emergency center anxiously. Old master, Yi Hua is your grandson. Now he is hurt by someone. Don't you want to seek justice for him? The eldest lady asked with angry eyes. Ahem. Mr. Yi staggered and tried to stand up. Lin Shu was the first to say, what are you talking about? Everything I do is for your son's good. What? Kick someone in the face wildly and shoot to injure them. Is this called doing the other person's favor? What the hell? If my son hadn't been lucky, he would have died with that shot you just fired. You actually said it was all for his own good. Do you really think I'm stupid? The eldest lady was furious. Oh, why don't you understand my kindness? Your son should be taken care of by the family law. If he doesn't die, he will lose half his life. Now that he is injured and fainted, this family law is naturally exempted, right? Lin Shu put his hands in his pockets and spoke in detail. Well, as soon as these words came out, Yi Shui and Yi Ying were completely stunned. How thick-skinned do you have to be to say this? But don't say it, think about it carefully, and it seems that it is really the same thing. Ha, if that's the case, don't I want to thank you for shooting him? The eldest lady laughed angrily. If you want to express your gratitude with tens of millions, I don't mind accepting it. Lin Shu shrugged. Oh, I almost forgot a very important thing. Don't you just want to marry the Yu family and use the opportunity to strengthen the Yi family? I have a way, Lin Shu said. What can I do? Yi Hai asked. Second uncle, do you really believe that this little beast can do anything about it? Yi Mei sneered contemptuously. Yi Hai smiled awkwardly. Of course he didn't believe what Lin Shu said, he just blurted out the question. Say, why don't you say it? I want to hear what you, a loser with no connections, can do. The eldest lady sneered, wanting to see Lin Shu make a fool of himself. I have met the old man from the Yu family several times, and we talked openly. I learned that he has been in love with you for a long time, but because you are a married woman, he does not dare to express his love to you, so he can only miss you alone at night. However, the more he thought about it, the more he loved it, and he could no longer suppress his heart. So he decided to come to Yi Mansion to propose marriage to you soon. He also promised that as long as you marry him, the alliance between the Yi and Yu families will never be broken, and they will do their best to help the Yi family restore the glory of Shiri. Lin Shu raised his hands high and spoke passionately. Boom. One word caused 1,000 waves. What the hell? That Mr. Yu fell in love with my mother and wanted to marry her. Yi Mei was dumbfounded. Yi Hai's family of 3 looked at each other. Ah, how dare you humiliate me like this? I will fight with you. The eldest lady lost her composure and rushed towards Lin Shu with all her teeth and claws. Bang! Lin Shu just glared, and she was so frightened that she fell to the ground. Because just now, she seemed to have seen a bloody hell flooding towards her. The Yu family is rich and powerful, and Mr. Yu is one of the most influential people in Zhongling. It is a great blessing for you to marry him. I think for the sake of the prosperity of the Yi family and the interests of the family, the head of the Yi family will definitely approve of this marriage. At the end of the sentence, Lin Shu looked at Yi Tian provocatively. 20 years ago, this man took advantage of Mr. Yi's absence and forced Yi's mother to marry into the Zhong family and become his mistress, and she was tortured. Today he is going to use his own body to treat others in their own way. What a Lin Shu! He went through such a big circle just to vent his anger for the little sister. Yi Hai thought to himself. Yi Ma's body trembled, her hands clenched and unclenched, her heart was extremely complicated. Boom! Yi Tian's face had already become extremely gloomy, as if he had a feeling that a storm was about to come, and his murderous intent was revealed. Kill! He wanted to cut the little beast in front of him into pieces in order to relieve the hatred in his heart. But suddenly, as if something had occurred to him, he glanced at Mr. Yi and the old housekeeper, and his murderous intent subsided. In view of the host's performance just now, a special gift package is given. The system sound sounded. What's going on? Could it be that you can also get rewards for talking and drinking? Lin Shu was stunned. Yi Ma, little sister, let's go have dinner. He was in a good mood and pushed Yi Ma's wheelchair away. Seeing this, the old housekeeper snapped his fingers. The space was distorted, and Mr. Yi disappeared into the hall. Not long after Lin Shu and the others left Yi Mansion, several black cars drove up. Times have changed. Who would have thought that the Yi family, the first family in Zhongling back then, would be in such a miserable state now? Seeing the Yi Mansion in front of him covered with traces of time and filled with the aura of abandonment, Mr. Yu sighed. Yu Yao's eyes were calm and she didn't know what she was thinking. Yu Zontian came to visit. Yu Zontian came to pay homage. Mr. Yu spoke calmly, but his voice was like rolling thunder, echoing throughout the Yi Mansion. Yu Zontian, isn't he the old man from the Yu family? Why is he here? Yi Hai was stunned. Ah, could it be that what Lin Shu just said is true, that this old man has fallen in love with Damu and now he has come to ask for her hand in marriage? Yi Ying screamed. In the hall, the eldest lady was still complaining that her man was useless, watching her son get hurt and letting him go. At this moment, Mr. Yu's angry voice came loudly, scaring her so much that she stumbled and fell to the ground, her legs weak. The corner of Yi Tian's mouth twitched, and suddenly he felt a green light starting to appear on his head. Brother, just now I thought you really killed my eldest cousin, which almost scared me to death. Yi Shui said, still with lingering fear. Lin Shu smiled calmly and said, Brother, you have to be at ease when doing things. Don't worry. Fortunately, the bullet didn't hit the vital point, otherwise my uncle would have fought with you. Yi Shui gave him an annoyed look. Xiao Shu, I know that you have been angry at the Yi family over the years and have resentment in your heart. I also know that what you did just now was to vent your anger on Yi's mother. But I hope you won't be blinded by anger and hatred, think twice before doing anything, and don't put yourself in crisis. Yi Ma doesn't ask for wealth or honor in this life, she just wants you and Shui'er to be safe. Yi Ma grabbed Lin Shu's hand and spoke earnestly. I know. Lin Shu nodded obediently. Hearing this, Yi Ma felt a little relieved. Although her adopted son is naughty, seemingly lazy and frivolous, he never fails to promise as long as he agrees to something she does. Hey, when did a hotel open here? It looks pretty good. Looking at the Zhexiang building across the road, Lin Shu's eyes widened. Ah, brother, don't go, that's a 5-star hotel, we can't afford it. Yi Shui exclaimed. Can't afford it? What a joke. I have 1.5 million in my pocket. Guys, please show your VIP cards. A waitress wearing a cheongsam smiled politely. What, do I need to be a VIP to eat in your hotel? Lin Shu was surprised. This is a rule set by our manager. The waitress said clearly. Brother, let's go, so as not to be laughed at. Sensing others laughing and looking at her, Yi Shui pulled Lin Shu's clothes and said with some inferiority complex. Hey, isn't this classmate Yi Shui? Hey, it's really Xiao Shui, what a coincidence. Just then, a group of young people came from behind. Hey Yi Shui, no wonder you refused Mr. Shang's dinner today. It turned out that you made an appointment with such a pretty boy. A girl wearing a black see-through skirt said coldly. As soon as she said this, the smile on the face of a long-haired young man disappeared instantly, and he looked at Lin Shu with evil eyes. Jian Yuan, you misunderstood. He is my brother and today is my mother's birthday. Yi Shui explained. Brother, let me introduce you to Mom. Her name is Sun Ji. She is my deskmate and my best friend. Hello, Auntie Yi. The girl named Sun Ji bowed her head sincerely. When she raised her head, she glanced happily at Lin Shu, lowered her head again and said with some shame, Hello, Brother Lin. Lin Shu noticed that her face and ears were all red. It turns out he's Xiao Shui's brother. My surname is Shang. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Knowing that Lin Shu was Yi Shui's brother, Shang Xiao instantly changed his smile and extended his hand politely. This long-haired non-mainstream guy wants to pick up my little girl. But he doesn't look like a good guy. Lin Shu put his hands in his pockets, straightened his waist, took out his right foot from his shoe and raised it high. My surname is Lin, disrespectful, disrespectful. Nah, do you want me, Master Shang, to hold your smelly feet? The smile on young Master Shang's face froze, and his eyes became increasingly gloomy. Yi Shui's classmates were completely dumbfounded by Lin Shu's coquettish operation. Some girls pinched their noses in disgust and backed away. Hey, what do you mean? Don't be too insulting. Yi Shui, why don't you ask your brother to apologize to Mr. Shang? You've made him angry and you can't live without it. Young Master Shang comes from a rich family, has a lot of connections, and knows both black and white. Is this something you poor people can offend? Some people clamored to fight for Mr. Shang. Brother, what are you doing? Yi Shui twisted Lin Shu's arm hard, causing him to scream in pain. That brat has no manners at all. Mr. Shang, I'm sorry. My son is ignorant, so I apologize on his behalf. Yi Ma looked apologetic and slapped Lin Shu hard on the butt. Shang Xiao suppressed the anger in his heart and forced out a smile. Hello, Auntie, my surname is Shang Mingfang. I am a student of Xuanying Martial Arts School. I live in a 4.5-story villa on Bay Island in mid-levels. After speaking, he straightened his suit and gave Lin Shu an airy look. A sample. Do you know where I am coming from? A country bumpkin dares to embarrass me in front of so many people. If it weren't for picking up your sister, I would have slapped you in the mouth. Huh, when I get your sister, I will play with her well. I heard that the minimum requirement for admission to Xuanying Martial Arts School is B-level talent. I'm afraid Shang Xiao is a second-level warrior. The housing prices on Banshanwangwan Island are more than 30,000 square meters in a 4.5-story villa. How much does it cost? Some students were in an uproar, with a hint of envy in their eyes. Hearing these voices, Shang Xiao felt even more proud. I'm very sorry. If the three of you don't have VIP cards, please move to other restaurants. Seeing people blocking the door, the waitress reminded again. Xiaoshui, don't you have a VIP card for Zhexionglu? How about I get one for you? It's only 100,000 yuan. This small amount of money is just a drop in the ocean to me. Mr. Shang took out a VIP card from his wallet and waved it in front of Lin Shu. When other people heard this, they couldn't help but look envious. You must know that the VIP card of Zhexionglu is a status symbol. 100,000 yuan. No. No need. Yi Shui shook her head and refused. Don't be so shameless. Master Shang can help you apply for the card. That's your blessing. A girl named Jian Yuan, wearing a black see-through skirt, pointed at Yi Shui with her hands on her hips and scolded her. Snap. Suddenly, a slap hit her face hard. You hit me. Touching her hot face, the girl's eyes were full of disbelief. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.